What is good? How y'all doing today? You all right? Everybody good? All right.
Said about a little bad sexual experience I had last night.
What can you do?
Well, you're old. It'll happen more and more.
Waterloo crack for the victory.
A what?
Waterloo.
A Waterloo.
Waterloo.
What can
Water.
you say? Can't take the kid out of Pennsylvania, you know?
Yeah.
You sure can.
Hey,
I've never called it Water in my
the
entire
PA
life.
out of the kid, you know? What is this, Penn State?
I don't know why you're making that face for me. Yeah, woohoo, yeah. Can't wait to see you in the Orange Bowl.
Well, we're not going to talk about Clemson, I guess. We're good.
That was a bummer.
Jason didn't come
Now
over
you
to my
know.
house yesterday. That's how sad he was.
Now I know. I felt watching the Michigan game.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're back. Week 9 in the books here. Hitting the recap. Back to the Monday live stream after some trick or treat.
Little Niner.
Calling from a walkie-talkie. No, it was cordless.
Cordless.
All right, so where you guys want to start this week? We got Saints, Ravens going on. That's pretty exciting. Likely in the end zone, though. Like to see that. You want to go?
Let's do a little Indy, New England.
Colts, New England. That's a good place to start. We got Frank Reich.
He on.
Fucking out of here.
Bringing in Jeff
See you
Saturday.
later. Big old Jeff.
Saturdays are for the boys.
Got a losing high school coaching record, but hey.
Hey, he was just the offensive play caller.
So here we go. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting.
You lose Frank Reich, which fair, not fair.
I think it's.
I was
I
a
think
little
I feel like
surprised.
Irsay needs to fire himself. Like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
I was a little surprised when I saw that, but I also then not surprised, I guess.
Is Gregson next?
Who's the GM?
Isn't it great? No, that's the old GM.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
No, the GM. The GM is Ballard.
So my
Yeah.
kid says Saturday.
Sorry,
Jesus.
Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting over there. Like, they've been trying to play the retread quarterback game. Hasn't been working.
Yeah, both. I saw a thing earlier today that both of the head coaches playing the quarterback retread game have gotten fired so far. So I guess that means Ron Rivera's soon to be fired. He's also playing the retread
It's
game.
very possible. But I was reading somewhere that they put Matt Ryan back in and he gets injured. I guess his contract is fully guaranteed for next year. So maybe they won't put him back in. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm going to assume that Saturday would maybe want to put Matt Ryan back in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Colts probably should just eat some shit and try to get a decent draft pick. Do they have their draft pick?
I think so.
You know,
don't know how
they've been trying to play this game, and you know,
Yeah.
let's obviously you got stung by Andrew Luck. Seems like they've still been
Yeah.
digging
pretty
out of that
much.
hole a little bit.
Yeah.
But it always seemed like they were right on the cusp and just a quarterback away. You know, caught Phil at the end. Carson, now Matty Ice.
Just haven't found the.
O-line's no good, and they're like the highest paid.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
They do have their first.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where Indy goes from here. They got absolutely shellacked by the Colts or by the Patriots. You know, Bill Belichick was just having none of Sam Ehlinger.
Get this fucker out of my face.
Yeah. When your leading receiver had 23 yards for the Colts.
Yeah, so nothing good going on there. Obviously, you know, it's the Patriots and it's Sam Ehlinger, so that's almost like a rookie quarterback getting a start. We know the Patriots will put it on a rookie quarterback, and Bill's pretty good in that regard. So didn't expect much to come out of here. You kind of expected it to be a lopsided game, but it was pretty bad. I'm not going to say that I watched a terrible amount of this game because of just where it went and what else was on. So some good games on. But Mac Jones, fine, 20 of 30, 147 and a touchdown. It's not like he necessarily was lighting the world on fire either. I guess thoughts on your Colts receiver stock moving forward. I mean, Michael Pittman, he's got to stay in the lineup, right?
Oh, I mean, I guess you can't take him out, but certainly certainly starting to wonder. I mean, you couldn't take him out this past week with all the buys, but
Right. 6 targets, three receptions, 22 yards. You would, like I said, think that I don't exactly know what they're going to do next week. Could see Matt Ryan again. We may not. Maybe the GM basically just comes in and say, "Hey, we're definitely not," or the owner rather, Ursay comes in and say, "Hey, we're not playing Matt Ryan because we don't want to."
He's
we don't wanna
making
pay
those
him.
calls.
yeah,
Like,
I hope he's not.
He's
making
got to
those
be
calls.
making those calls at this point, right? I mean, right?
I don't know. He just comes in off his Waterloo and just screaming obscenities. Like, I mean, Matt Ryan's also hurt, so that was like he's not on IR, I guess, but he's definitely banged up.
Shoulder injury.
Question at first, it was like, oh, he got benched, but then it was like, maybe he's just hurt.
I think it was little column A, little column B.
Right.
I think that's fair.
So you're talking about Pittman, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got to be a buy low right now, right?
Sure. Well, yes.
If there's room to, then sure.
Yeah.
But it certainly could be a possibility. I mean,
So we got a question pertaining to it here. Let's see what I don't know how to say this guy. Bazaltzberg. Some of these YouTube names crack me up. Clearly. He asks long-term buy low on Pittman, right? I agree. And he says upgrade by shipping Mooney off of a good game. Maybe throw in like a second.
Done. Get out of here.
Mooney in a second. I mean,
Is that a 24-second too?
He does say 24 second,
Done.
but I
Not
mean,
even, I'm done.
half point PPR.
that 24 class is good.
There's a half point. I mean, fucking Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And there are going to be some good 24 players coming out, but
You can.
some
24
of the 23
Marvin-
class might be coming out in the 24. You know what
Marvin
I'm saying?
Harrison Jr. is not going in the second round. I can tell you that much.
True, but you got to get some picks, move up. You know, what I'm
Because he's
saying?
going in the first round, or
right.
No,
No?
he's going in the third.
Oh.
He's
Third
got to
round
be like
pick.
the 24-1-1 right now, right? Like
so you're saying Mooney in a second for Pittman,
Done.
half point PPR.
half point
caveat.
PPR.
Done. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you should probably make that move. Yeah, you should. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Mooney a little later, so I don't really want to jump too much into
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean,
Would you trade who you want more right now, Drake London or Michael Pittman?
I'll take London. It's just a matter of like he's good. It's just a matter of kind of how the Atlanta Falcons are playing right now, and it's not a detriment of necessarily wins and losses. They've been in every game. They could have won this last one, so it's not like you can be super mad at what Arthur Smith's doing. I mean, you can fantasy wise, but and if you're a Falcons fan, you might not necessarily love the brand of football that you're playing, but it's he's hanging around in every game. He's been right there in a lot of them, and I think Drake, if you're watching some of the game and then go back and watch some of the highlights and replays of what he's doing, he's open. And if they had a quarterback and they were passing the ball, I mean, Kyle Pitts isn't doing anything right now on that team.
Oh
Like,
man, they almost
can
had
you-
a touchdown.
they did,
big
they
ass
did.
long touchdown. but-
it's a product of your environment right now. But I think I'd rather have Drake London than Pittman.
Pittman.
I think-
Pittman?
well, he loves Pittman and doesn't like Drake, so that was an easy one for him. What
Indeed.
about Deontay Johnson?
Or who?
Pittman. We're on Pittman right now.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Pittman. I'm pretty high on Pittman.
Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra.
I'm sticking with Pittman. But it's
Gotta-
close.
I got a final one here. Garrett Wilson. We'll get to him later, but I think I got to pivot.
Similar in the product of his environment, although this week you had a nice uptick from Garrett Wilson. Obviously, he can be the alpha. He can be the one if they can just get the passing game, moving forward and look at. I'm not saying that I don't really love Zach Wilson. I'm not saying that.
How could you?
I'm not really saying Zach Wilson. I'm absolutely not saying Zach Wilson is
You're not a
Justin
40-year-old
Fields
lady.
either.
How could you?
But just look at how that progression has gone for Fields. They kind of kept it under wraps. They were running a lot in those.
We'll get to Fields.
First, I know. I'm just saying. I'm using this as a product of the environment of Garrett Wilson. They kind of brought him along slowly. Zach Wilson missed the whole offseason. They've been running the ball a lot, then they lose Brees. So you bring, maybe there could be some argument made that Wilson just maybe getting brought along a little slower, and we will at least see more pass attempts per game moving forward because no fantasy guy is going to be super relevant with 18 attempts on some of these low attempt games that the Jets have been playing.
Yeah.
So if you can get those attempts up, then I think and Wilson can just get brought. He doesn't need to be great. He just needs to be serviceable.
Sure.
And Garrett Wilson, I think that could be an actual. Right now, I don't think you can. Probably got to be Pittman, but I mean,
yeah,
I'd rather have Garrett Wilson, the player. The environment gives me slight pause, and maybe it's just this weekend living in recency bias, but we have seen good games. It's not Garrett Wilson's problem that he's not able to be elevated to the status that maybe he could one day achieve or could be achieving right now.
I would like the victory lap over both of you guys here
what?
for me having Wilson over Elijah Moore at the beginning of this season.
Oh, you got to. I mean, I don't mind taking L's. I don't know what the hell's going on with Elijah Moore. Like, it's fine. Like,
Are you down to buy Elijah Moore?
I'm 100% down to buy Elijah Moore.
And
furthermore,
he's probably not costing much these days.
If the Jets don't want to, why wouldn't you move him at the trade deadline then?
Yeah.
If you don't want to get him involved or whatever's going on.
Spite, not trade. We're going to stick you in the fucking slot.
I think
not target you.
I think it's because they know what they have
Braxton
there.
Berrios.
They just got to figure it out. Like, for whatever reason, there's a rift or something going on there.
Do you think
we don't know about?
This seems kind of similar to the Tony situation.
Potentially, but the Jets seem like they're more willing to work through it, and try to keep this thing on the track. And I think they might know what they have in Elijah Moore, and this offense could be really, really fucking fun. But right now it's just not all that much fun. They got Saleh, who's a player motivator, a defensive coach, and LaFleur's, maybe obviously the run game's working with a banged up offensive line, or at least it was working with Brees for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's working fine enough with Carter and Robinson.
Yeah, so all the tools are there. I'll wrap up the Pittman part of this. Yeah. I mean, I just don't think it's as cut and dry for Pittman and Garrett Wilson for me. Like, I have a lot more hesitancy than I think you would have thought.
Recency bias, baby. Garrett Wilson.
So you're just jumping right to Garrett Wilson?
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Pittman still.
Okay. I thought everybody would be firmly in. That's why I went in the whole thing. I thought everybody would be firmly implanted in the Pittman tree.
Man, like, I just saw Garrett Wilson looking like he did in college and like starting to yak it up a little bit. He's got a pretty nice ceiling, and if they're gonna facilitate the ball to him like that, and they moved him outside primarily, like, I don't really care who's throwing him the ball. You're seeing that he's good.
Yeah,
which Pittman is too. So wait, let me pivot off. Let me get a little bit younger and the fresher, and people don't really like Pittman in general, and it's kind of weird over there. Jets are fucking legit. I mean,
so just real quick. So G is for Garrett, which is good enough for you.
Sure.
All right. Well, I thought that was going to go in a different direction. I thought everybody would be Pittman. So yeah,
let me get the fucking shiny new object that's balling out right now.
I think
they're right there. They're probably in a similar tier. I think we're gonna do wide receiver rankings this week. So I got some like wide receiver questions kind of tooled up to get prepped for that.
We
but
can save that
little
for later.
teaser.
So
yeah. Let's move along.
You probably got to bench. Probably got to bench any other Colts wide receiver not named
Pittman.
Absolutely. Got to probably keep rolling Pittman.
Alec Pierce, nice little buy low still though. I like that.
Hey, he led them in yards this week with 23.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right, let's hop over to the other side. We got a bunch of running backs that are decent over here in Patriot land, but it seems like
just one mostly.
Just one.
One has kind of emerged.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one. Cock push-ups. One is all you need.
What?
All right. Rhamondre Stevenson is the man of the hour. Really, after the little bit of a nick up with
he can definitely cock push up
with Damian Harris. We finally got to see one of these guys emerge. I think either one can be good given the right amount of touches. I think Damian Harris will probably move on, or like Jay Wynn would say, maybe it's the ultimate Patriots thing. He's not playing great. They bring him back and just fuck everything up again. But I think Damian Harris is a fine player too. But Rhamondre seemed to be bursting at the seams, and now we're kind of getting it right now. Thoughts on Rhamondre moving forward. We talked a little bit.
I mean,
about
I
it
had
in
him pretty high in my rankings. I felt.
Yeah, we just did the ranking show a little bit, and we got kind of into that 4th, 5th tier, and it got kind of good luck saying who over who at this point right now in the season. So what would be the round value that you would establish with Rhamondre
In
Again, a
terms of
startup.
well, just rookie draft, I guess.
He's.
What do you?
I don't think he's not yet worth a first, but he easily could be. I think that
Most people will say no way.
on a competitor.
I don't think I want to give up the first. I don't think you have to. I wanted to put him on this list because, like, I know we had several questions about him in the comment section in that rankings video, and we didn't address him too much, but there's still a window right now. Like,
You think?
for sure. Like he had that touchdown that kind of saved his fantasy day. It wasn't out of control. He only had
60 yards.
16 points, right? After a strong little run there. But like if Damian Harris comes back, he's definitely gonna eat into that a little bit. All of a sudden he had an illness, and the Patriot games, people could be frustrated with him, just wanting to get off of him. Like I think there is still like a buy window with him, although that game log looks better than I thought it did for sure. It's a 4 20s in a row and then a 16, but like he just.
I mean, I'd get 2 seconds all day for Rhamondre
Sure.
Stevenson all day.
Maybe you
Give.
would have to give up the first.
What's that?
You'd give?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a strong team, I'd think about giving away that 23 first.
Yeah, that's a weird one. If you're losing and you don't have a whole lot of good pieces and Rhamondre's like one of your only great pieces, then I'd be willing to see if I could figure out how to get a first for him.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, you're probably not trying to sell Rhamondre if you're a middling team, or although some people are just team ship out the running back.
Yeah.
If he's
Sell
doing
Rhamondre in a third for a first.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. If you really wanted to get it, I'd be fine paying if I could do the 1-2 swap on Rhamondre and
Give up the 1, get the 2 back,
right.
get Rhamondre. That's you're probably not.
I think you're probably not doing that.
Well,
That's a pretty easy one for me.
We can figure out like to give up the first and then get back a 2.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I would
But
definitely do that. I don't know if you'll get that deal done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you might have to kick some more in, but that'd be
You might have to wait till Harris comes back and this
Well,
line
the
goes
thing-
down.
the
a little
thing I
bit.
throw
like
2
about-
2s, then you do the 2-1, and then see where you're at.
The thing I like about Stevenson is that he's getting the passing down work. He's getting the passing work right now.
Right.
And I think that continues when Harris even comes back.
Well, the thing about Stevenson is that when Harris is out, he's like the guy.
yeah. Yeah.
Like they're committing to him, which they don't usually commit to running backs. It's been since like LeGarrette.
They have
Blount.
to. They have no other option right now.
I mean, I think
Jacoby.
Harris was like a healthy scratch, right? Or was he hurt?
Both Harrises were scratch. Both Harris were. Damian Harris was injured. Kevin Harris was
A healthy scratch,
Yeah.
right? Like they could have.
They had JJ
Yeah,
Taylor.
but I mean,
they had JJ Taylor as the backup.
What I'm
running back.
saying, not that they don't have bodies. Of course, they have bodies. I'm saying like he's their only option to actually be able to use and do something with. Like, even if Kevin Harris was there, he wouldn't be eating into his like. They've always had like a couple different capable guys to do different things in different roles. Right now, they have none of that.
Yeah.
Even if Kevin Harris was not a healthy scratch, like he might get a little bit of run here and there, but
yeah, he's short yardage back.
right. So I mean, I think, but that's the problem. If you felt really good and Rhamondre was you knew Rhamondre was going to be the guy next year and you didn't have to worry about them doing something else like they always do, then
send the first
then it's
all
a
day.
first without I don't even need anything back.
Yeah.
But like, that's the problem is that,
Yeah.
it's
the
you could get
Patriots.
really pigeonholed next year and then the value probably maybe even goes down from what you paid because you're back to right now. There looks like there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. So maybe it is a sell. I mean, I love it's tough when you love a player, love the player, you like watching him play. You think he's pretty good. I got him in a couple spots in a couple second rounds last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was. And I'm hanging on.
Yeah.
He is 24.
The 2 teams that I have him on were both rebuilding teams, and I bought him, and I don't want to give him up because next year I'm planning on trying to make the run. So it's like I don't really necessarily need to sell. I'm equipped with picks that I need. Now I just got to play the waiting game. But yeah, I don't know, man. That could be the sell. Nobody's selling. Everybody's buying.
Yeah, I'd be. Yeah,
It's not because of the talent that I'd be wanting to
Just
get
the
out of it.
Patriots
Just because
situation, just in
if
general.
if you had to play the odds,
they're the
if you had to
worst.
play the odds, what do you think's happening next year? You think they're just going to give Rhamondre Stevenson the star running back role, or you think they're going to muddy that thing back up?
I mean, what's your definition? If he gets 60% of the work,
I think they'll muddy it up, but he still could be just fine.
exactly.
Yeah, but if they're muddying it up, then he's probably not worth a first.
Depends whether if muddying it up with Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong.
Well, I mean, no, you'd be obviously picking another running back up or signing another veteran running back or bringing Damian Harris back or, any of those above options, which, in most cases, I'd say, hey, things can change. They can do things differently, but the Patriots really don't.
That just doesn't seem like the Patriot thing to do is go out and.
I mean, they wouldn't buy anybody expensive, but there's going to be plenty of veteran running backs that they could pay, $7 million to, and they'll be like, sure. I don't know who's a free agent and who isn't, but
David Montgomery or Rhamondre?
I mean, David Montgomery could be a fucking Patriot next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's kind of why I said that.
I thought that's where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you're going with that.
Although I guess he's not having the production this year. He could be cheaper than what he should be.
I'll take Montgomery. I mean,
really, I have Rhamondre ranked over him.
I think it's right now. Yeah,
I have him in the same tier.
I have him in the same tier too, but I have on opposite ends of the tier.
Miles Sanders or Rhamondre?
I have Rhamondre just over Sanders.
They're all kind of the same.
They're all in the same tier. Again, they're all in the same tier.
Rhamondre's got probably the age by a hair.
A year.
So that's nice. Just
He's
running
24
back
versus 25. Those other guys are 25. Last one, Tony Pollard. We discussed this on the rankings.
Rhamondre.
Yeah. All right.
That was pretty easy.
Shade of Tony Pollard, I guess they would call that, the kids. Quick answer. I like Tony. I just don't know where he's going to end up. I mean, Tony Pollard could be a fucking Patriot next year.
I hope he's a Cowboy, but
let's hit a couple questions here.
I don't know that he will be. All
Before we move along, let's see. Sterling says, "What you think about Cole Kmet long term?" We'll get to him. I haven't quite a couple games
yards
here.
does Cole Kmet have?
200. He's got 200. I checked. It's about halfway through the season.
hey, it's not. It can still happen.
It could still happen.
Yeah.
Things are turning around. Jesus.
Let's see here. I don't know if this is a question. My wide receivers long term are Judy Pickens, Riley Garrett, Wilson, Jamo Williams. Cool.
How about some proofreading beforehand, Jason?
Got 324 firsts for Marvin Harrison. That's a lot. I guess this must be a Devy league.
Or maybe he was saying back in the day he traded 3 firsts.
It says junior. It says
This
junior.
is 24 firsts.
And it says Marvin Harrison Jr. I kicked that can way down the road. I mean,
you don't like Marvin?
I know. No, he looked great. No, he looks great.
Seemed like a little backpedaling there.
I was gonna say 3 firsts is a lot.
All right, come on. What else you got? I'm ready to go.
Shout out to Big D. Let's see. We got some Jonathan Taylor questions.
We did just talk about the Colts, so maybe a relevant topic.
We haven't talked about Jonathan Taylor as like basically being a buy right now. I did kind of want to like bring that up at some point because we've been getting a lot of questions about should I trade Jonathan Taylor? No. A bunch of people like fucking trading Jonathan Taylor right now. That tells me like you should go trade for Jonathan Taylor right now.
Yep.
Like, and then coming off of another inactive week and bad stat line the week before that, he's been injured.
He was injured that last week.
The Colts absolutely suck. Like,
yeah,
the line stinks.
Offensive line. We just did
no quarterback what to speak of.
We just did the rankings video for running backs last week. Go check that out. We had him still at number 1 overall. So that would tell you that we are down to buy Jonathan Taylor. So this guy, let's see, Aaron Conley says, what would you guys need for Jonathan Taylor in a full rebuild? Was offered 2 firsts. What would it take for you to move him? What I don't understand is why you'd be moving the young stud running back in a full rebuild. Well, that's kind of what I'm like. I want to rebuild around Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Sure. I mean, I understand that to a point, but if it takes you 2 years from here to rebuild, then what Jonathan Taylor do for you? Won you some games that you didn't want to win, and then what? How old is he?
So then, but then at the same point, what do you? I mean, you're trying to get Jonathan Taylor with one of those 2 firsts. So why wouldn't you just take Jonathan Taylor?
What do you mean?
Like the best you can hope for with using those picks
Is to get Jonathan Taylor.
Which the argument against that would be that you don't have to use those picks to draft players. You can turn them into somebody else that you like. But
sure. If
not
one,
Breece Hall.
If one of those firsts,
maybe you could turn them into Breece Hall.
If one of those firsts is the 1-1, sure, then that's a different story. But just 2 random firsts for Jonathan Taylor, no, I'm just gonna hang on to Taylor.
All right, so he'll be he's
23.
He'll be 24 at the end of the season. So if it takes you 2 years to rebuild
He'll
that
be
team,
24 at the beginning of next season. Well,
he'll be
January.
26.
He's January birthday.
The problem is if I'm in the rebuild, I'm fine if that, like, if you have a bunch of other assets and you can reset it without that, that's cool. But like, you may need Jonathan Taylor to be that reset. And then I'm not saying that I necessarily don't want to build around Jonathan Taylor. I'm just saying I don't need to build around Jonathan Taylor. I could build around some other things. And then in 2 years, I could go buy another veteran running back who's 26 years old from somebody else who isn't as good. And finally, instead of being in collection mode of picks and young players, I'm going back to the normal mode that I'm in, where I'm selling picks and acquiring things, older guys, and trying to win.
I mean, if you're talking about a 2-year rebuild, then I don't think this is time to sell Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, you probably shouldn't sell Jonathan Taylor, and I wouldn't sell him for 2 firsts. Like,
it's not enough. You got to wait.
I'm no way. Like, he's been the dynasty overall #1 for like the last 2 years.
Right.
He's still good. It's not that I'm not in any way, shape, or form hating on Jonathan Taylor, but I mean, you're rebuilding. Holding on to a running back in the middle of a rebuild. I rebuilt and I held on to Swift. I'm ready to go next year, and I got Swift. I've been pretty close to selling him a few times, but probably going to hang on to him. That's the only big time running back that I kept throughout that rebuild, and it's because I drafted him. I didn't even want to draft him. I just accidentally drafted him because he was the only guy left. Like, I tried to trade up a million times and not get Swift in whatever class that was. And
I traded up to get Swift.
I got Swift, and I haven't traded him yet, but I haven't not considered. I sold every other person on my team and had a bunch of picks this year, got a bunch of picks next year, and I got a core group of younger guys that are really working. And it's like, all right, well, in a year or two, the guy who has Jonathan Taylor in that league's team is probably going to be shitty. So I'm going to go ahead and buy Jonathan Taylor when I'm ready to start winning again, and he's 26 and still kicking dicks in.
Right. Brandon Murray said 2-3 years, you just go buy Taylor for a second. LOL. I don't know if he's fucking awesome. He's going to be worth more than a second at that point, but I get your point. Mike Oxlong says 12-team, 1 QB, start 7. Give Drake London and a late 23 first. Get Jonathan Taylor all fucking day. See ya.
What was that name again?
Mike Oxlong.
Oh, okay.
What was the
Drake and a late first for Jonathan Taylor?
Let me get Taylor.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's buying low on Jonathan Taylor. That's like
It's 2 firsts.
Yeah,
Yeah. A little bit more than 2 firsts.
probably.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not necessarily. You are correct in the assumption that I think you should be buying Jonathan Taylor.
But I'm not
Because
just going to
everybody
sell him
hates
for
him.
80 cents on the
No,
dollar.
no,
because I'm rebuilding.
I hate that we even have to say that. Like, you shouldn't be selling him for 80 cents on the dollar.
Somebody's asking it.
Right. I know. I'm just like, we should just be able to be like, look, Jonathan Taylor's a stud. Let's not sell him for anything. What's like the going price for like the best couple guys in the league pretty much off the rip? It's 3 firsts.
I mean, I once sold Michael Thomas for 4 firsts 2 years ago.
Like 3 firsts is the standard to buy one of those like top tier guys. It's going to take some semblance of trying to get to that sort of value to be able to buy one of the top guys.
Yeah.
So that's what Jonathan Taylor should be. And if you can't get that right now, you're not getting the respect for it. We're saying that there's some opportunity to buy low. So the guy who's poking around for Jonathan Taylor right now on the low is either just the guy who always sends bad offers or one of the better teams in your league, because that's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of people who are going to be panic selling all of these plays. He's Trent Richardson now, according to the internet. And maybe he wasn't as good and is the worst.
There's a lot of
He's the worst first round pick ever in a rookie draft, in a startup draft.
Are we having a
know.
Trent Richardson off between Taylor and Najee Harris?
I mean, it's anybody who stinks now for any period of time is
After being good
Trent
once.
Richardson. Yeah, I can't with all that. But no, Jonathan Taylor.
I saw Jonathan Taylor at the Senior Bowl, and he was fucking awesome. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Ridley Truther. Senior Bowl.
But yeah, no, you can't say it. You can't send off Jonathan Taylor without getting the haul. There is maybe some opportunity because people do live in a recency bias. A redraft world or a redraft life in a dynasty world is how some people really do. They live week to week on values. And hey, if you have the time, you should be sending out trades week to week on the market going like this, because you might catch somebody who's hates this, who's upset about this team, and 2 weeks have gone by and they haven't won, and they're like, fuck it, I'll get rid of Jonathan Taylor. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna grab that butterfly net, catch that beautiful butterfly. All right, let's keep it moving. What's next? You got anything else you want to talk about? Patriots, Colts.
Don't sell Jonathan Taylor for 2 firsts.
Agreed.
Just want to really just
all right,
drive that one home.
Let's one more trip around with Jonathan Taylor. The 1-1 this year or Jonathan Taylor?
20. You're talking about
Bijan.
Talking about Bijan Robinson or Jonathan Taylor?
Bijan. I need to get
Depends
that right.
if you're into mustard or not.
It's Bijan.
I don't like mustard, but
Like the
I
dog?
want to get his name right.
Yes.
Bijan.
Because he's got a dog in there. For sure.
He's got that dog in him.
For sure. It's a little Bijan.
Definitely. It's definitely a meme with the dog inside with the X-ray. I'm so sick of that meme.
It's got to be a picture of a Bijan freestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate those dogs.
All right.
Terrible.
So what's the answer
I think
to the question?
I think it's closer than I want it to be, but I would need a little sprinkle. I would need something on top of that 1-on-1.
I agree. That's
because I don't know where he's going to play, where Robinson's going to play at in
so we have
2023.
Fair, and it could be in Texas. Who knows?
Houston?
No, just Texas.
Oh,
Austin.
coming back to
No fucking way. No way. I'll
Never
bet.
know.
I will bet.
You never know. He could be he's making probably really, really good money right now in Texas, and they're about to get Arch Manning. And
What do you wanna
once
bet?
the reboot?
What-
I'm just not.
What do you want to bet?
I'm
I'll
just
bet you
saying-
anything you want.
Maybe there's
Fire to
a
the
couple
face
of
for
these
sure.
guys. I don't want to bet you. I'm just saying that maybe there's a couple of
Yeah.
these high-profile guys who are fucking caking it up and loving life in college and can make some money. I mean, Bryce Young's making more money than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Bryce Young's about to get fucking paid.
He's getting paid, is what I'm saying. Like
But
he's
he's
gonna
about to
get
get-
he's gonna
Jalen
get
Hurts
more
isn't
paid.
getting paid enough. That's what it really comes
Well,
down
sure.
to,
I'm equating a
second
guy
round
who's in the
quarterback.
pros right now to guys who are playing in college.
but he'll be a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
doesn't
he's about
matter.
to get $25 million guaranteed.
1-1 is Bijan.
Bijan isn't about to get 25
Or-
million guaranteed.
I'm not talking about Bijan.
no,
I'm
but
talking about Bryce Young.
will Bijan be a first round
yes,
pick?
yes.
Because you probably
Seems-
could get more in
yes.
college than
Seems
that,
like it.
even that late first round pick, right? With
Especially
NIL,
in Texas.
right? And you got all them like Texas chicks at
You
school.
You
know?
just never know. Anyway, Bijan, or you said you think it's
He
closer
still wants
than
Jonathan Taylor.
I still want Taylor. I need a little something on top there.
So him and I have a team. I wouldn't trade the roster that I have with just about any other team in the league, but we're fucking losing. We can't buy a win. Just had all the wrong injuries at all the wrong times. Can't put a lineup together to save our lives. Trade market's terrible. We traded away our first round pick because we got a good roster, and we figured, hey, maybe worst case scenario, it's 1-6. There's some bad teams in the league, and we're right at the bottom of the league. We're terrible. So would you trade that to get your own pick back? We have Jonathan Taylor. Would you send that out if you could get your pick back?
I just said no.
I know.
No.
I'm painted the scenario for you, though.
If I did,
I'll trade Mixon to get that pick, but
That's never gonna happen.
it's never gonna. If I did that, I'd be fire sailing everyone on my team.
I don't
And
want
I
to fire
tried to-
sale.
I
everyone on
tried
my
to do
team.
that.
I don't want to trade Jonathan Taylor either.
I tried to do that in a league where I was like 1-4 to start the season with. I traded Dalvin and Mike Evans and Josh Jacobs, and I've won 3 in a row now because I traded for players who are good.
Right.
I read a tweet that someone said, I traded all my good players in Dynasty. Now what?
Right. Well, this is
Yeah.
this isn't that scenario, and I'm not saying just trade, but you
Sure.
you have a good team already, and you could potentially get younger for like the best prospect since Saquon Barkley, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's really the thought process there. You could get 2 years, 3 years younger, and maybe just get Jonathan Taylor or Saquon Barkley all over again. Because I don't even know that Jonathan Taylor had Bijan hype.
No,
He didn't.
he did not.
Because like you said on the ranking show, CEH was able to unseat him in some people's minds.
I was in a league where I got him at the 102.
Love that shit.
Yeah, it was great. Shout out Shane Manoa.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make that move in every league, but I'd be fine making that move.
Let me get a
You
little
really
something
gotta.
extra.
You really gotta. That's too much of a risk. Is it what happens if you're sitting there with the 102?
Sure. No. You got to have the 101.
It's got to be the 101.
I can control my own. It's my pick that I'm getting back. I can kind of control that.
So now you're just.
I don't think it's gonna be the 1-1 though, man. In this particular
No, I mean,
league,
but I
so.
could control that. I could trade away 2 more players and then never win another game for the rest of the year because I got a bunch of hurt guys.
We might still not be able to get the 1-1 based on that bottom.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out. It's all about scenarios. This is
I-
really what fantasy
Or if you're
really
an asshole scenario.
really when it comes down to everything is like you can throw up all the trades that you want, but it's like it really comes down to the particular league and like nobody trades. You know, it's tough. So that's
How much is the buy-in in that league?
it's 150,
No thanks.
and then it's 50. It's
If it was in that $50 league, I think
then you get
True.
$50 worth of fab money, and it's real money. So it could be a $200 pot.
Who gets the pot? The winner?
It goes. Some of it's total points, and some of it's
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm just. It's not a $20
Shouldn't have
league.
asked.
It's not a $20 league.
Yeah. I don't really want to trade Jonathan Taylor in that league. I mean, we'll see.
Would
All
you
right.
trade? Just real quick, would you trade Brees Hall for the 101? Just curious.
For the 101?
Yeah.
I think we're all relatively the same here. So with Brees, you're pretty young already, so it's not like,
You are coming off an ACL, but
sure.
whatever.
It's not an Achilles.
I'd
It's
go
not
e-
multiple ligaments.
go
I
either
mean,
way on
either.
that. 50% of the time I'd go one way, 50% of the time I'd go the other. That's a
50%
cop
of
out.
the time, every time.
But
So those are the only 2 guys you wouldn't trade for the 101. CMC, you're trading for the 101.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Just make sure we're on the same page.
I just said I might trade Jonathan Taylor for the one.
Fair enough.
So-
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. Let's move on. What do we got?
We'll do a little NFC Norse showdown.
All right.
The Packers and Lions.
Packers Lions, a snoozer.
Oh, but the Lions pulled it out.
They sure did.
15-9.
Almost got pregnant.
They
What?
pulled it
If
out.
you don't pull out.
Your just comments have just been off the fucking wall tonight.
Sorry,
Guys, guys fucking bonkers.
I hear pull out, and
you're
immediately my mind goes into the gutter.
Yeah, and you're all talking about cock push-ups over here.
Yeah,
and
shout
you,
out to Tenacious D.
And you clearly
You
missed
can only do one.
and you missed my Cookie Monster reference.
Oh, I did miss that one.
Mm.
I miss a lot of your references. I'm not.
You're
not-
wearing a fucking Cookie Monster shirt.
It was my Halloween outfit. My kid was a cookie.
Mm.
It was cute as hell.
Oh,
Took a
anyway,
picture, I didn't put it on the webs though, so it doesn't exist. It didn't
that
happen.
didn't exist. Yeah,
Didn't
just like you go,
fucking happen.
just like you go to the gym and don't post about it on social media. You didn't really
Yeah.
go to the gym.
How you can't skip leg day on Instagram, bro.
All right, moving on. So we had the Packers Lions 15-9. Aaron Rodgers looking old. One touchdown, 3
so
interceptions.
salty too.
Looking. I think he's hurt.
He's always shaking his hand.
Yeah, he's got that COVID thumb.
Yeah.
He's immunized.
I mean, they got a little. I mean, Rodgers was a leading rusher with 40 yards.
Yep. Aaron Jones did go out.
Yeah, but yeah,
And
They said-
he has a boot.
but no, they said the
Inconclusive.
X-rays came back negative.
Well, the first ones came back inconclusive. They got more.
Yes,
To say negative.
negative. Today was negative. They were positive. They were negative.
More COVID talk.
Yeah, and then AJ Dillon still being ineffective so far this year.
Sucks. What a bummer.
Yeah, what a bummer.
Bust.
What a bust.
Something's got to be up there because
The only bright
he
spot,
looked phenomenal last
only
year.
bright spot of the Packers was Lazard, 4 for 87 and a touch,
10 targets.
10 targets, indubitably.
Right. And
We
this
had
is a great time
we
for
had
Lazard.
Doobie Doobie Doo going out on the first play of the game after a catch for 18 yards. Christian Watson back-to-back weeks of concussions.
Right.
He had a little 2 a week.
Sammy sucks. He's a
Sammy
shell
sucks.
of himself. Irrelevant.
Second leading receiver on the Packers was Josiah DeGura.
Tight end.
Shout out Cincinnati.
He was firing Tanyan the ball, but it wasn't working out.
Yeah, well,
He only had 4 targets.
the other rookie got a couple of decent targets too.
Oh yeah, Torre. Yeah,
Mhm.
they said he was playing the wide receiver too once the other 2 went out. But
Yeah, he didn't look terrible.
mean-
That's a pickup after waivers. See if something could happen there.
yeah, or even Amari Rodgers.
Hold on, guys. Sexchat69.site hits us up. It says it got new site with hot girls. I got
Click.
it right back.
Click.
ASL.
What is this? An AOL chat room? What's your way message say?
Oh man.
Is
Some
it-
angsty lyrics.
It's like fucking dashboard, bro.
or some hard ass gangster rap lyrics.
Yeah, it's one of the two. It's no in between. And then
all right.
on the Detroit side, Jared Goff with a game. Jamal Williams, 81 yards, 24 carries. Swift made a little appearance there. Not doing much on the ground, but had 3 for 40. Amon-Ra, 455, and 2 tight ends had both of the touchdowns. So maybe picked up James Mitchell off of waiver wires, but I guarantee you didn't start him. Brock Wright played a ton, but had 0 catches and 1 target.
I picked up Brock Wright, Kennedy, and Mitchell anywhere I could. I just said, fuck it, let's go. Scoop them up. See what we can come up with.
Amon-Ra, I mean if he's healthy, you're going to start him. There's
Right.
no way you're not starting him. But
Amon-Ra's a stud. We don't need to talk about Amon-Ra.
yeah, what are we
He's
doing
great.
with the Detroit backfield?
It's interesting. I don't know. I just said that Swift was like the only guy that I kept in a big rebuild.
Do they both have values? Are you starting Jamal Williams anywhere you have him? I mean, you probably were this week with six teams on bye, but
He's not the worst option ever, but I don't really want to do it.
yeah,
You know,
he's a thorn
not
in the
like-
side, and Swift can't stay healthy. So
yeah.
what can you do? You can't complain too much about it.
Dollar Bill said Swift almost had a few touchdowns. I
He
did see
did.
that. I did
He
see the one.
Yeah, that one
on
where he
the
got the cut.
option
Yeah,
route.
and they had
Texas route or
caught
whatever.
the ball behind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, had
Bad
to
throw by
adjust
Goff,
and
yeah.
spin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He almost did score there, but
Hurting their chances winning this game for getting CJ Stroud. Should have
Yeah.
probably
there's
shot
a
the bet
couple
again.
quarterbacks though. So, but yeah, it looks like
There
that
are,
with
but it seems like
3
it's getting a
wins-
whole lot. Like there's not too many quarterbacks.
Hey, don't say that to Mel Kiper Jr.
I don't know, man. The quarterback class doesn't really excite me all that much, outside of maybe CJ Stroud and I guess Bryce Young. I mean,
Yeah.
He's a gamer.
he's good, man. He's just small. I hate to be
saw
the
that
size of
someone-
this guy, but I mean,
I saw that somebody compared Bryce Young to Kyler Murray today on the Twitter. Don't remember who it was, but that Bryce Young was the Kyler, and then not Bryce Young. CJ Stroud was Kyler, and Bryce Young was like more of the game manager.
Well, he's got a whole lot better fucking attitude than Kyler Murray. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
How does he feel about COD?
I don't know. Probably loves it.
I'm a codfish. I don't know. I don't get the reference.
Call of Duty.
That was
So Brock Wright, Mitchell gets the touchdown. Nice little. I think he's got a decent athletic score. Mitchell. There's some love being thrown around for him before this
Agreed.
game. Brock Wright was getting some run with Hawkinson there, so to me that was kind of the next in line. But he kind of got concussed in the last game, so I don't know what was going on in that regard. So I'd hold on to my Brock Wrights unless I was really churning a roster.
All of this receiving work just makes me so excited for Jameson Williams comes back.
Yeah, I like obviously Chark's on the IR. St. Brown's going to be just fine.
Josh Reynolds inactive.
Yeah, so Goff probably not long for this team
Hey,
necessarily.
maybe he's a Colt next year.
It's very possible. So that could be hopefully a really good thing, or it could just be more middling and being.
I mean,
just
it
fine,
doesn't get
but-
real more middling than Jared Goff.
No, that's
though.
why I said more middling.
Yeah.
But so at least we know for the most part, St. Brown should be fine. The only thing you worry about with a quarterback change is that, and most likely a regime change because you're
Yeah.
probably getting rid of the head coach there. So you maybe worry a little bit about how much the next quarterback will favor St. Brown, but
I mean, I think
St. Brown's
quarterbacks
done enough
Yeah,
to
yeah. Yeah,
to
agreed.
solidify himself, and then you'll get Jameson Williams, and we'll see how much, if he can come back to where he was.
Whew.
Was
that 21 tape was
the most electric player in this draft for sure.
How
just
he doesn't tear
really,
his ACL in the SEC champ. Was it the playoff semifinal or was that the Natty?
I think it was the game before that, or maybe it was in the national championship.
I think it was in the national championship.
Yeah,
game. I think Mechie did it in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Williams tore it in the Natty.
Mechie might have even tore it in the playoff game.
Yeah, I think they were
Jameson.
Doesn't matter.
The next one,
but no Jameson yet. Good. I'm glad you're not putting him back on the field. There's no reason to put him out there.
At this
so
point,
good on the Lions.
At this point, is there a reason for him to play him? I mean, maybe at the end of the season, just to get him a little bit,
to get his
feet wet,
run around a little bit.
Yeah.
But Swift is probably the guy that you're slightly concerned about. You mentioned the backfield. Is anybody looking to get out of Swift?
You can't right now. Like, I guess if you want to, you could be plotting your escape from him, and certainly people are out on him. I mean, people are fed up because it's always something with him. But I was reading something I saw some tweet, I forget who, was like he's in the process of ramping up from his injury. That takes 4 weeks. He's 2 weeks into it. The PFF article that I read where they put out the all the snaps and stats, they said that he started off kind of hot and then it tailed off as the game went on, which is not a great sign for his health.
Yeah,
he was definitely on a snap.
He only
count,
played like 3 snaps in the second half or something like that.
Right, not very much as the game went on. So you don't love that, and he is always fucking hurt, and I get it. I get the frustration, but we talked about him on the ranking show. Like, he doesn't need a ton of snaps to fucking be good. He still is only 23 years old. He'll be 24 in January, so he's still a fairly young player. He has the pass catching ability that everybody craves and loves and demands of their running back. And he is a phenomenal pass catcher.
Yeah, he played 10 snaps and got 8 points.
He can score from anywhere at any point. And I mean, he's dealing with these injuries, and Keenan Allen was injury prone until he wasn't. Now he's back with a hammy. But like, there you had like a 3 or 4 year run of phenomenal Keenan Allen, and after a bad 3 year run of just straight into the IR, right, of the storm. Swift, it's just like, I get if you're frustrated, like, what's up with your team? Are you like ready to go now? What kind of return can you find someone that's willing to respect the talent and give you fair value? It doesn't seem like right now is a great time to try and sell.
I know you guys, and I'm probably not trying to get out on him either, but if you were trying to get out of him, what are you trying to get for him?
Like another young running back, someone in the comment was talking about how, anytime they're rebuilding, they're trying to sell any and all running backs. And That's
fine. I can agree with that. There's no reason to put that on your team
but he's a perfect buy for a rebuilding team because he's not helping you win.
Yeah, sure. If the cost is, I guess, low enough, but I mean, it's just the amount of injury that happens with running back. You just don't want. That's basically like an uninsurable asset on your team where you could get something for them if they're good. Somebody wants them, and then you can come back and buy the running back when you're ready to go. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Like, 3 years ago, I would have said no way. At this point, though, like, we need the running back position to be rejuvenized. Hopefully, we're about to get it, but I'm going to buy 1 or 2 when I need it instead of having to just. I'm going to continue to draft them in the rookie drafts, even if I'm rebuilding, because if it hits, the value goes straight to the fucking moon.
Yeah, I feel like if you were watching the Alabama game, I think Gibbs gives you enough of what Swift is like that I'd be okay if I could move off on early first and a little something on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, Swift healthy is a top 5 player.
Sure.
Point scorer.
So the problem is when is he healthy?
Right. I think you got to wait. You got to hopefully he closes the season out strong and then is obviously healthy in the off season. And then if you want to move off of him there because the hype will rebuild of like how many points. You just said he had
10 snaps,
and 8 points. They'll be he's got 1.6 fantasy points per snap he played.
That would
You know,
points per snap are off the.
You just
fucking
need
chart.
some stupid stat to come out that everybody fucking loves,
What is he,
and
Joe
then
Mixon?
you'll just take them all the that'll carry the value all through off season. Or Swift's missed 66% of all possible
games
played, and then
Dollar Bill says Swift for Javonte Williams.
yes, give me Swift. There's Javonte, give me Swift.
I have
That's
them right next to each other. I can really go either way.
Oh, that's Olave again. I need no more Olave.
Yeah, sorry about your luck there, buddy.
We were talking about Alan Lazard. I think still maintains. He was a little banged up and is a little banged up. Still maintains for a contending team. I think that's a good buy. I mean, just gives you a flex, a second flex, or a third wide receiver that is pretty solid week in, week out. I don't hate the idea of buying Christian Watson. Even the little bit that you just saw him playing, there's a little bit of juice there. They were trying to get him back on the field when maybe they shouldn't have here.
There's talent there.
And it's not like me and Big Co drafted him before the season after I was like, I don't want all that much to do with Watson. And then the value dropped enough for me to get him. It ain't going to take much for the Watson train to turn around. And I feel like now's a good time to try to hop in there. We're halfway through the season. Somebody maybe in the beginning of this season paid a first for him. In the beginning of the not mock draft, in the middle of the rookie draft season, maybe paid it, or maybe you could go say, hey, I'll give you a 2 for Watson now. Just recoup something. Like some people are fine with that. Some people will be like, hey, I don't, it's been half a season. I got nothing from Watson. I paid it first. Give me a second and he's yours.
Just taking the sunk cost there.
So I think I'd send out some offers to see if I could get Watson in there, regardless of what goes on with Rodgers. Like he was a raw player coming in, but the intangible kind of speed, size, quickness stuff is there. He just needs to, learn how to play. And he's at least been now inundated into being in this offense, seeing what it takes. I'd be buying Watson.
Yeah, and you're not worried about LaFleur.
No, you don't know what's going to happen with Rodgers, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anything else in that game that you guys want to talk about? Rodgers hanging it up after this year.
I mean, he doesn't have a deal from Fox, but I mean,
he does have a pretty solid amount of guaranteed money that he probably have to give back. I don't know how that works.
I think he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's boy, all right.
I mean, but I don't know how much I don't know how much ayahuasca costs. So
I think he's probably getting it for free.
I mean, there's a whole thing, shaman, and all this other stuff. Yes, it's probably not.
The trip down to wherever Peru's not.
No, you don't have to do that anymore.
You don't have to, but he seems like a trip to.
That's true.
With the whole full immersion.
Yeah. I heard that the stuff when you take it in the Amazon makes you have wild diarrhea too.
Here's a question. Important Dynasty question. Is it different? Like, what's the difference between ayahuasca and peyote?
Ayahuasca
and peyote.
Well, I think peyote is more like.
Is it not all psilocybin, or is it all psilocybin?
I don't think they're all psilocybin.
I don't think so.
Like LSD, mushrooms. It's not all psilocybin.
I think psilocybin is just a kind of mushroom.
Just the mushrooms, I believe.
They're hallucinogenics.
Mm-hmm.
So different types of hallucinogenics than just psilocybin.
Is a mushroom. That's correct.
I believe so. I don't know.
I don't know that for a
drug
fact
expert on here.
I'm not trying to indict myself for anything. I don't know what's with these fucking drug questions on.
With asking what it is in a drug. I'm not giving you. You're not smoking peyote on the show.
Are you a cop?
I'm not a fucking cop.
Jesus, it's a fucking cop questions.
He lied too. He was totally a cop.
Spoiler alert.
Strong movie. Should have won an Oscar for it. But.
Oh my god! And how great movie! What a cast!
Strong cast.
Young Anthony Anderson.
God, this fucking rat.
All right, let's move it along here.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Not psilocybin.
Yeah.
Dolphins Bears.
Dolphins Bears. All right, let's get into this game. So.
Oh, Justin Fields. We did a video about Justin Fields in week 3 after they were 2-1. It was like, is it time to bail on Justin Fields? The Bears are the best team in the league right now, which they've only won 1 game since then. So we weren't necessarily wrong about that, but
they're looking a lot more fun to watch.
The Bears, we were really down on Justin Fields because he was not playing well. It wasn't looking good. They weren't trusting him in the offense. He was looking okay when taking off, but a lot of the throws he was making were getting intercepted. A lot of bad throws, some good throws, but really just playing very poorly through the first 3 weeks of the season. Since then, has really turned this thing around.
Very bad. Very bad. He wasn't making good decisions.
Right? And so now the Bears fucking make a trade for Claypool. They send over a second, which seems like a lot for that bum asshole. But I'm not a big Claypool fan anymore. Used to be, but you just can't stand him. But Mooney's coming alive.
Can't stand him. He stinks.
If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
I just wish he'd catch the fucking ball like a man, instead of a little bitch-ass bitch.
He does be acting like a bitch sometimes.
So you hit him a little triple B?
But, Fields, I guess the question that I would have is, has he earned the roster spot next year on the Bears? He's the starting quarterback for the Bears next year, right? Seems like he's totally turned this thing around.
I mean, he only had 123 passing yards, but
3 tutters and the most rushing yards by a quarterback ever, I think.
Yeah. Which is
and
crazy.
Just facilitating, moving that offense. They did lose the game, which the Bears don't want to win.
But the Bears want to win. The Bears front office probably doesn't want to win all that bad. But
right.
I mean, they're playing the Dolphins, who are a good team.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was a good game. It was fun to watch.
For sure.
It was enjoyable. Tua was pretty good. Now, but Fields put on a nice show, and like I talked about a minute ago with Zach Wilson, the Bears kind of put this in slow motion, and it seemed like coming in that maybe they weren't so sure. This wasn't the regime that drafted him. Maybe they weren't sold on him. They didn't really help him out necessarily, and they kind of slow played a little bit. Obviously, the first game of the season, the monsoon game against the Niners, they get him. You can't really take much from that. But then the next couple of games, weren't really letting him do anything. It seemed like they were really protecting him, really weren't trusting him. And now it seems like slowly they've kind of been building an offense. Luke Getsy's never done this before at the pro level. And so, you just kind of had a lot of things that the GMs knew. You just kind of had a lot of things going one way. And then I think you slowly start being able to build a little bit of an offense around what he does well instead of forcing it. Again, you mentioned still only 17 and 28. The passing was fine. There were some really, really good passes in there.
No interceptions.
There were some not great decisions, but there was a lot of really good to take away from there. But now you see them trade away some defensive players, but then you said, I don't really understand trading for giving away a 2 for Claypool. I think
it's a decent move. I don't like the actual move, but I like the intention of the move. It's I'm trying to help my man out. Let's get him a little bit extra.
I think you got this thing built where he's showing you enough. Hey, let's put another piece over here. We're trying, and let's see if we can maybe move this thing forward a little bit and evolve it as the season goes on, which I feel like they've done a pretty good job at. I was pretty. It was so ugly to watch for the first couple of games, but I can respect the slow build of what they're doing right now. If it continues to move forward, if it just gets stale and hangs out here, because we just saw a nice little upswing for a couple. They beat the Patriots. That was prime time, and they just put a nice game together with the Dolphins.
Moral victory.
And they could have won that game. There was a bad maybe no call in there. And then Tua makes the throw at the end of the game that doesn't quite get to Waddle. We can talk about that in a minute. But no, I think Fields has definitely earned the right to be the guy next year for sure. I don't think they can deny that at this particular moment, as long as we keep seeing movement forward.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I agree.
What are you doing with Fields on your dynasty team though? In a superflex in superflex.
Sure.
I mean, what I'm doing is I'm fucking keeping him if I got him. This is the whole reason that I drafted him. This is the whole reason why you want any of these guys who have legs. I mean, this is exactly why you drafted him. This is what you want to Trey Lance.
46 points,
well, of course not. This is an outlier, but in general, what he does. I mean,
sure.
This is what you wanted Trey Lance to be. This is what Josh Allen can give you. This is what Jalen Hurts gives you. This is what Lamar Jackson gives you. This is why those guys, a lot of the teams who are winning championships in fantasy, have some of those guys on their team. Even Mahomes, he was the leading rusher for the Chiefs this last week. Mahomes has hidden yardage in every game. Rodgers used to have that.
Rodgers was leading rusher for the Packers.
He was, but he used to have it a lot more. Russell Wilson used to have that a lot more. Those were guys who were cheat codes for your game. Kyler Murray, not great this year, but even him not being great, the fantasy points are still good enough. They're not awesome. They're not as good as you would hope they would be with Kyler. But they're awesome. I mean, Burrow's had a stretch where he was good, but I mean, for the most part, the guys who, I mean, look, Tua had a nice game, 302 and 3 touchdowns, and Fields, even if you take away some of the rushing and what he didn't play better than Tua necessarily playing the position of quarterback. But he did exactly what you drafted him to do, and why you were so interested
Fields
in
had
Justin
a QBR
Fields. So
of 95.4.
I'm fucking holding on to him, and I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited that I got a guy that I feel like I can start every week, and the floor should be 17 points. Especially if we could start seeing Mooney and Kmet and Claypool now moving forward, which we have. I mean, we've seen Kmet, there was no passing going on. It was kind of like what I was just talking about with Zach Wilson. There was no passing going on. It was fucking ugly to watch. And how can you get in a rhythm? And every bad play that you have is so under a microscope now because you're not having that many that you're like, what the fuck was that? And now you're moving forward a little bit, and Mooney is making me feel better. Sometimes you start second guessing things like, damn, was Mooney really not that good? No,
right.
Mooney's that fucking dude.
Right.
Like, he roasted Howard in this, and then Fields threw a fucking dime to Mooney there. And then the usage of Kmet's promising. He fucking bullied a guy a few times in that game. Big red zone usage when they did pass the ball. It was just really hard to defend. Herbert and Montgomery are both very good backs. This offensive line playing better. I think this was Whitehair's first game back in a minute. So the offensive line's been run blocking really well for a few weeks now. But
they're run blocking well for Fields, not so much the other.
Well, they were like that Packers game. Like they had run block pretty well for a small chunk. Like after the first couple of games, they were really hitting a groove of being just looking like a triple option fucking team where they were just run the ball, Bo. You're running it for 10 yards every time, like that Packers Sunday night game or whatever it was. They were just they were down big and they were still running the shit out of the ball, but they were gashing them.
Twitter gets so salty when you're down big and you run the ball,
but I like the Herbert move or the Claypool move is maybe a peace offering of saying, hey,
right, sorry, bro.
One, we fucked the Packers. Two, we got you a
Not
guy.
A lot, but some help.
They were trying to throw bubbles and quick stuff to him. They gave him a couple opportunities to get involved. He looked just fine.
Just don't throw the ball to him in your 2-minute offense.
I think he had just one catch,
Sure.
But back to Mooney.
2, Jimmy.
Back to Mooney though, like they're moving him all over the place. Like he's playing, I think on the year, like half in the slot,
6
half
targets
outside.
there for Claypool.
6 targets
and a run.
Not much to show for it, but
no, I mean he just got there, but
no. Look what TJ Hawkinson did with his first game with a new team. That's all I'm saying. That was wild. That fuck shit was wild. But back to Mooney, like just them getting him involved, like moving him all over the place. Like he didn't really match. He kind of stayed away from Xavier Howard for the most part till it got into the red zone and he threw that touchdown pass. And Bobby Boucher came back at halftime and Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl. Which was dirty. Like there's not too many people doing that to Xavier Howard. That shit was fucking awesome. And I think Mooney's got to be in your lineup now. Like he's got.
Mooney's been in my lineup for 3 weeks. He's been DL pretty solid as the third wide receiver or flex play if you need him. And once this offense turned around just a little bit, and there was like a semblance of any sort of passing game, and that there was enough threat of Justin Fields in the run game that you got to respect this now. Mooney's been okay for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, love it.
So that's fucking awesome, man. Anything else?
Fields, quarterback 23 for the Bears.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it's
good
great
for him because he's got the tools, he's got the talent, and he's starting to put it together. And
they got some picks, although they did send some capital away. But
I think they got something when they traded away. Obviously, when they traded away
Quinn and Roquan.
Yeah, Roquan, and when they traded Khalil Mack as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So about that Roquan.
They're set up, and they probably got decent cap numbers as well. So the Bears moving forward should be fun to watch as long as, like I said, we can keep this thing moving forward. And it's
I think
not
the
just
only concern you have with Mooney is if they bring in like a first-round wide receiver.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, you can bring in a first-round wide receiver, but Mooney's. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
Mooney's a good 2 all day long.
or a 1, I think. They do have their first, and they have 2 seconds. They also have the Ravens second in their own. So they traded 1 away. They had 3 seconds.
What would worry you about Mooney is if you don't see what you just saw from Jalen Hurts from 1 year to the next year. So this year, you're not worried. Hurts can support 3 guys. That was the concern coming in, that Hurts wouldn't be able to. If you can see Justin Fields kind of make that natural progression, we keep this thing moving forward, then necessarily we're not concerned about being able to feed.
I think it's a minor concern, but it's a concern nonetheless.
All right, where are we going next? I'm going to go back over to the Dolphins side.
Talk about the Dolphins, yeah.
I mean, like I said, we can go back over to Tua at the end of that game, kind of underthrowing the ball to Waddle there, which was a big topic on social media and such. I saw guys post this clip and then talk about how how Tua's arm is subpar. And it's like, you recorded this clip and then posted it and then wrote that. And like, did you not watch the clip? Like, they're like, he's flat-footed because he's about to get fucking smacked. Like, he can't step up. He had to throw it where he was throwing it when he threw it, or he got hit at the end of the play. And if he would have stepped up, he would have gotten absolutely fucking murdered. That's why the ball's fucking short. I'm not saying that Tua has the strongest arm. I'm not trying to defend anybody, but like, how are you going to post the clip, talk some shit, and then did you not watch your own fucking clip? Like, at least if you're going to post a clip, show a different angle where it's better for yourself, where you just saw the throw. You didn't see Tua about to get fucking slapped. That's why he throws the ball fucking flat-footed, you asshole. Anyway.
How do you really feel about it?
No, just dumb shit. People just who didn't like Tua in general, just after he made a couple bad plays in that game, and that was one of them, and it was at a bad spot that could have cost him the game, and that's all you want to fucking talk about. And it's like, I mean, whatever. How about Jeff Wilson, though?
Yeah. He's wild. What are they doing? Monsters look so good. All of a sudden, Jeff Wilson comes in.
Nine carries for split it down the middle.
And more receiving work.
Boys are familiar with everything that's going on out there. They're familiar with each other. I mean, that was a fucking great trade for the fucking Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like, you got rid of Chase Edmonds, who clearly wasn't fitting in, wasn't doing anything. You got something from him, and then you used your relationship with Shanahan and picked up another running back to shore up that
backfield.
collusion?
Is that collusion?
No.
Everybody has trade partners.
They just didn't need him. I mean, they just didn't need him after getting CMC.
Yeah. And you got Elijah Mitchell coming back. Right. But probably, it doesn't hurt that you have a nice rapport.
And that you're in different conferences.
Yes, that mostly.
Also, I'm not going to say necessarily. I thought Tyreek Hill. I thought Jalen would, or Tua would support Jalen and Tyreek Hill, but I definitely thought Tyreek would maybe not be quite as effective as he was. But
Jesus,
God,
he's almost more effective
God
than he
damn
was,
it, man. Jesus Christ.
Because it's not like they can, like, they were almost like keeping him somewhat in check in the Chiefs last year.
Time to time. Yeah.
And this year it's like
he's just going
He was wide open on that touchdown
Taking
catch.
a bathroom break.
Like, how is he wide open on that touchdown catch? I didn't see the play. I just saw the end result. I didn't I wish that we could get the Amazon Prime Vision on every fucking game.
Yeah.
Because that shit is fucking awesome. But it's only Thursday nights and you got to click over to the Prime Vision.
Waiting all week for Thursday night.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Carrie's underwear. I just don't know. It's got to be the scheme. I mean, this dude is just.
I mean, he's got the most carries through 9. He's got the most receiving yards through 9 games of any receiver in NFL history.
And Jalen Waddle's getting his too.
Yeah, 5 for 85 and a touch. You're not going to complain about 19 fantasy points.
Yeah, it's wild.
Obviously, it's not 28 fantasy points, but
it's wild what they're doing over there and what position they'd be in if Tua didn't get hurt there for a minute.
Yeah, I think they've won every game that Tua's played the whole game.
That's wild. Miami Dolphins are fucking crushing it.
Yeah, and the thing you're concerned about here is what do you do about the running game? I mean, it's probably going to be obviously it's going to be these two guys going forward.
I mean, you fire up Jeff Wilson if you have to.
But is Mostert still playable at all? I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
I think he's playable. It's not as exciting.
I disagree. I disagree because Mostert's one of the fastest guys in the league.
Yeah, I mean Jeff Wilson's pretty fast too, right? Like Jeff Wilson's just like a younger Mostert.
A little bit.
I don't have the 40s.
I don't have the 40s. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I feel like Jeff Wilson's pretty good, and he's a little younger. I mean, they just it's a bummer because Mostert was really getting everything.
Yeah.
And so if you were riding Mostert, you definitely took a major hit there.
Yeah.
But I don't think you have to bench him necessarily. I mean, I'm not trying to start him.
Temper
I was
expectations.
never really trying to start Mostert. I guess recently you probably were like, I fucking fire up Mostert.
I fired him up this week.
Yeah, I did too.
Wasn't the worst.
I mean, I have a league where
Right.
I have to start one quarterback, one wide receiver, one running back, and one tight end, and then I have like 5 flex spots, and I just play 6 running backs every week. And Mostert's in there.
Love that.
Yeah. It's also quarter point per carry.
Let's see what Jeff Wilson's 40 is. Oh, it's not good.
To go back. Oh, yeah.
He can't even be good. How is he even scoring any points running a 4.62? How could he be any good
Sounds like Alvin.
running a 4.62?
Sounds like Alvin.
This is outlier.
Sounds like Alvin Kamara.
Well, he's definitely an outlier. He came on late too.
Whoa.
No, Jeff Wilson just breathed life into your lungs after having him on your roster, being like, all right, I'm getting some startability out of this guy. And
They bring him
CMC and
rips
now,
out your heart.
Now you got second life here. So, obviously, what would you be willing to buy or sell Jeff Wilson for?
Probably buying for like.
You probably can't get him for a third. I don't want to pay a 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know that he's got to be like some sort of kick. It's not just a pick that you're going to trade for this dude.
Yeah.
You're going to maybe if someone wants to bail for like 2/3 or something because their team is garbage or something, maybe you could find an outlier trade like that. But like for the most part, you're going to have to get him with a kicker. I really don't want to give up with 2.
Even in the third back, yeah.
You're in third place right now. Could use another
I
running
just
back.
almost did that for Mostert, and look what happened. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I feel like they're.
I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know that he's even going to be tied to them boys next year, but he's an unrestricted free agent.
It's a
next
singular
year,
play to try to get some.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give up the 2 for him. I think he could probably.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the third and then.
Did you trade
maneuver from there.
Isaiah Spiller for?
No.
I could give up Isaiah Spiller for Jeff Wilson on a 1-year rental.
No, I'm not doing that.
How about Terrace Marshall?
Yes.
You're getting Terrace?
No, I'm trading Terrace away.
He hates Terrace. I had to really convince him to take Terrace.
Did.
In our league we share together.
Well, we will get to Terrace, won't we?
We didn't start him this week, did we? Should have.
Fucking Tyler Conklin.
It sure isn't Rashard Higgins out there.
Jeff Wilson.
But they might just be seeing what they got in
6 rounds later.
Or injured Rashad Penny.
Wait, who are Penny? Because anyone.
Jeff Wilson. Yes, Jeff Wilson.
Give me Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
All day. Kenny just
all day
put Penny in a body bag if he's not already dead.
Maybe
he was dead
because he was such a high pick. I'd say James Cook, but
people
paid so much for James Cook.
I want James Cook. Let me go get James Cook. If I could use Jeff Wilson to go get James Cook,
I mean that's probably not. He's too much.
I'd have to give up more.
There.
I'd have to give up more.
I might even keep James Cook over Jeff Wilson.
Yo, I don't know if we'll get there. We'll see how it goes. But I wanted to bring up James Cook as like a trade for target right now because James Cook is looking the part. It's not working out on the stat sheet. When you look up and you see him targeted or running the ball, it's like, oh damn, that dude. I don't know if it's just 28 in a Bills uniform and I got CJ Spiller.
Naheem Hines or Wilson.
Wilson.
You do know you pronounce it wrong every single week. There's an M at the end.
Whatever. Everybody knows.
Are you saying it with an N?
Yeah.
Naheem. Not gonna work here anymore. So.
Yeah,
I think I can help out with the whole Naheem Maheen issue.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Naheem is like probably also hurting James Cook's value from a mindset because they just traded for him, and it's like that's even more like go buy James Cook. I'm
fine with that. I'd buy James Cook now.
Yeah.
If I could pay a third for him, sure.
I'd pay a second for him.
I don't know about
Too much?
a late second.
Okay.
I don't think you have to pay a 2. You got to figure out a way to do it without the 2.
Well, that's the that's kind of why I brought up Jeff Wilson and him. But I feel like there's so much sunk cost already in there that you probably don't want to move off of Cook for Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay a late second on Cook. I was nowhere near the late first for
Me
him.
neither.
I was not
Me
even in. That wasn't even the ballpark for me.
All right, let's keep it moving here.
Yo, we just got someone Brees Hall for mad low. I didn't even consult you on this. He said, offer in my inbox, my Monty, Mike Evans, and Foreman for his Brees Hall.
Bye.
I said, you better fucking take that now.
You can have me in that deal.
And a Dashboard Confessional concert.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
He said,
whoa.
done, bro.
Yes.
Appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, done.
Boom. That was too easy. That's the easiest Brees I've ever acquired anyone.
Boom. All right, well,
Double
since,
finger guns.
since we were already, so we did a lot of Jets and Bills.
I give all glory.
Let's hit a little Gabriel Davis.
My son Gabriel walks in. Gabriel, go.
This guy,
No.
this guy can't ever get to anything he has a saying for and not say it. Whenever you get to the, whenever you get to whatever it
Just
is.
call him Gabe.
Gabriel. My son Gabriel.
I feel it down in my plums.
I can feel it down in my plums.
Let him watch.
So, been up and down.
Oh, it was terrible this week.
There's some good.
Old Bills.
The good's pretty decent. I think I'm out.
You think you're out?
I'm out.
I think I'm out.
I think I'm out on Gabe. You gotta wait for another window, but I think I'm out, man. I think it's just obviously Diggs is great,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be fighting for scraps kind of after him a little bit, but
It almost seemed like they weren't taking the Jets seriously. Like they were fucking around.
I don't know.
Allen threw some really ill-advised picks.
Maybe he's got an elbow injury.
He's been
That
a
was
little,
after the terrible picks.
He's
He
been-
just like threw it right to the defensive
been
guy.
a little loose with the football through the last couple games.
He's got lost in the sauce.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. When Sauce was on Diggs, when
Gardner.
Sauce was on Gabe. Obviously,
Sauce was fucking everywhere.
Sauce
He
was
was on
legit.
every single wide receiver, every play.
I just don't to be the two in this offense. He just isn't. He doesn't.
He certainly just hasn't met expectations.
He's not doing what you need to do, and I feel like I feel like there's a replaceability right now to Gabe, and maybe it's not quite fair, but I think there's a real possibility that there's another guy that comes in here who could really disrupt things. I think Gabe serves a purpose. I think Gabe's a little bit better MVS.
Oh, that is an insult that I've ever heard one.
I mean,
If you're
kind of fair.
if you're a good two on this offense, you should murk.
Yeah. I
It
feel like
shouldn't
it's
just be a
fair,
blow
but
up game every once in a while.
I feel like it's fair, but at the same time, yeah.
Was a little banged up. Did have a blow up game. Followed up by a 16-point, the bye, and then 2 5s in a row. You don't love the 2 5s.
I mean, and it's not necessary. I just watching it play out.
Who were the two fives against?
Green Bay and the Jets.
Two strong corners there.
Yeah, I think Jaheir mostly had Diggs, but
You can find that data on PFF. I did not take the time to do it, but it will
No,
tell
who
you
has
how
that
many
time?
they did. They fucking crushing it over there. I didn't even know. You have to go to the
Oh
game.
no, I'm saying like who has the time to look that up?
You have to go to the
on,
I'm
game.
gonna look
on a
up-
Monday.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
You have to go to the game.
I know how to find it.
You know how to find it?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. I didn't.
All right. Well, while we're looking at that,
Stumbled upon it.
we did some Jets talk. We talked about Garrett Wilson a little bit. Let's go back.
Ooh, Garrett Wilson's going to get some run in this wide receiver ranking video, right? Like,
It should seem so.
it's got
I
to be
mean,
like,
it's-
is it too much recency bias, or should he be like fucking creeping up tiers? Is he like
I don't think he's really jumping
Garrett
super-
over all the rookies, right?
No.
Garrett's got to be the top rookie
Why?
wide receiver.
Why?
I mean, have you seen him play?
Yeah, I mean he's good. Olave's good. Drake's good. We got some good rookie wide receivers.
Were you not taking Garrett first?
I don't think so. I think I'm still taking Drake.
Get us out of this conversation.
He doesn't like Drake at all. So
That's fine.
And I think he had Garrett number 1, right? To start?
Me?
Yeah. Post draft?
No, I had Traylon.
Right.
Treylon we haven't seen. Jameson we haven't seen.
Yeah, I think I probably had both those guys over Drake, which I can't be wrong about yet on either of those. So I'll point that out there.
It's not. No, I don't. I think Garrett's right up there. I don't think it's easy to just. I'm not just going to jump him ahead of all those guys and just say for sure number one.
The reason why I feel that way is because I had him number one pre-draft, and then I had to bump him down because of the stupid Jets. But like now, it's like they're not stupid Jets anymore.
Yeah. Well,
and
we don't know if the passing game still seems like stupid Jets.
Yeah, but it's working for Garrett Wilson.
A little bit here and there.
2 games in a row, Casey.
Whoa.
That means he's good.
Oh my God.
And to pile on that 30-pointer
that was
in the
with
beginning
Flacco.
of the year. It was with Flacco. We almost got Flacco. Wilson got hurt for a second, and Mike White started warming up. I'm like, where was Flacco? I was all getting excited. Like, where the fuck's Flacco?
Who knows?
We get Flacco in this game.
Yeah, Flacco.
Every time I looked up, it was Garrett Wilson catching a pass. Like, the stat line actually doesn't even look as good as he was playing out there. And you started to see the yak come about.
Sauce gave up 1 catch for 42 yards, by the way.
In
Sauce
that game?
is balling. And he had a pick too, right?
Yep. That was against
All
Diggs.
Let's shift here. I'm gonna go back to Carolina, Cincy.
Yeah. Gotta talk a little Joe Mixon.
You have to.
I mean, I think who we talking about is Terrace Marshall.
I started him in a league. So
I got a Dwayne McFarland tweet.
are you gonna
Is that
read
what
it?
really made you shift?
Since the departure of
Shut
Robbie
the-
Anderson, the route participation 96, 95, 97, target share 14, 26, 20.
For Terrace.
For Terrace.
Now, do you think some of that's just our season's done? Let's finally see what we have in this man.
Well, they had a coaching change. They got a lot of things that changed. That Robbie Anderson's not there. They don't have another wide receiver, and Terrace Marshall's going out there.
Wait. They don't have another wide receiver.
Like, obviously, they have DJ Moore, and DJ Moore's been good over all those games as well for the most part. And that's not what I was saying. I'm saying they just don't have another wide receiver besides him.
Okay.
Like,
I'm just wanted to make sure.
that's one of those
They
things
don't have
where
a tight
we
end.
don't need to
They
mention. We don't need to mention DJ. We know he's over there.
You got Beans over here.
Well, I mean, he's
Refried.
irrelevant, but
Not nice. He's an asshole.
fair sometimes.
What did DJ Moore do for you this week? Fucking refried beans. Back to earth.
They got just shellacked.
nothing.
Terrace, though.
0 quarterback play.
Terrace scores his first NFL career touchdown.
Terrace has been playing all right, getting some burn. So the reemergence of Terrace coming in. So buy, sell, hold Terrace. That's a just get out of my face.
I mean,
for
you can't. I mean, I'm not selling him.
I mean, if you have any cost in him, maybe you can just get any. Maybe you could get a third finally again.
But I feel like if you didn't want him, then you wouldn't have picked him.
yeah.
Where was he going? Like mid to late first?
If you had a
Early
late
second.
rookie draft. When
He
that
crept
once
up.
that preseason got
Once
on,
those preseason catches came along, you were like, oh, my God.
I mean, I feel like somewhere it was in the middle there. It's not. He's clearly not complete garbage, but he's also probably wasn't worth a 108.
I think it was a weird. I don't know what happened there, but I think he's
also probably not. I think I
He
remember
was
that
not.
was not a great draft class.
clearly
either.
was not worth what that 112 or 110 or 2-1 even for Marshall. But
Sounds all like James Cook.
I do think that there's something there. I mean, obviously I liked him. I thought he could kind of play inside and out. I thought he had a kind of a little bit of some yak ability, some big play ability, some just kind of
Contested catch.
had a little bit of everything sprinkled in there, and it looked like it was coming to fruition in the preseason, and then abrupt halt, some injuries, and then
Quarterback play, obviously.
quarterback play somewhat. But I mean, you had your guy at LSU there for a minute, Joe Brady, and then you had Rule, who obviously was just not fit for this job. Although I like the hire, so I'm not even going to pretend that I was like,
Yeah.
man, the guys, it seemed like he was a good coach everywhere he went. It worked, but it didn't. So
He
here
should
we
stick
are
to
with
college.
Terrace.
He should go back to college.
Obviously you probably don't want to throw a couple force out there for Terrace right now because he's hot in them streets. But
Probably also not wanting to pay a third either.
I don't know that I necessarily want to pay a third either. So
For Terrace?
yeah.
I'd give up the third.
I mean, I'm not really guarded
A
with my
late
thirds.
third?
I'll
yeah,
do some.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll play a little fast and loose with the thirds.
I'll throw 2 fourths and some other random dude at you for see if I can get Terrace from you. We'll just play the random dude game. I'll throw some just random guys that might have a little bit of love.
Most shows just say he's a buy. That's it.
Yeah.
Move along.
Two fourths and Jermichael Hasty.
I'm trying to figure out how to get Terrace Marshall on the low.
Little kicker.
I'm curious to see if there's any. Let me see if I can find any trades.
Oh, people trade. People just be trading. They're just like, I've got 4 firsts. I sold all my good players. What more moves do I need to make in this rebuild? Like, just sit for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
Stop trading away all your good players. You need some players on your team, even if you're rebuilding. You still gotta, and they don't all have to be rookies from this past year, you know?
Yeah.
So many teams, so many people have hit me with like, these are my wide receivers, and it's like every wide receiver from this last class. I'm just like,
It's a good strategy though.
is it?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like it. You don't need every wide receiver from a rookie class.
Yeah, but
no way.
Well, that's if you keep all those wide receivers, that's the problem there. That's not the point of drafting all of those wide receivers there. What you do is you fucking capitalize on every single one that value pops, and you fucking move off of those guys. You keep one of the ones that you think's really good, and then anytime any of them pop, you keep selling them and keep acquiring more and more and get more than what you paid for plus a player, and that's how you get a fucking great rebuild going. Everybody wants these young wide receivers, and yeah, sure, give me all of them. And then obviously Jameson Williams hasn't panned out, and neither did Treylon Burks, but Garrett Wilson's doing fine. Drake London's value is going to hold just fine. Olave you could sell for a lot. Dotson got hurt, but if he wouldn't have, that would have been an easy sell. As far as I'm not just saying, like, as far as rebuilding, like some of these, you know, pick up the young guys. People are going to want them, and I'm fine with that. I did that same thing, and now it's an auction and it's a little different, but I bought pretty much every single rookie wide receiver, and
if you're in an auction and you can get them boys cheap, that's one thing. But like trading for firsts and then,
well, yeah, I'm essentially doing the same thing. I'm selling them all off to get auction dollars.
Some of these trades are fucking wild.
I'm trying to get as many as the young guys as I can, and then sell them off as I go. Keep 1 or 2, draft a decent core, build a decent little core around those guys, and then just keep acquiring another good player and a pick, and another good player and a pick. And then I'm going to come around this year and just be shutting it down in the draft and have a pretty good nucleus of guys and be really young, and then running back, and let's go.
Let me throw out some trades there for you from Wandale on the DLF on the Dynasty League Football Trade Finder.
Terrace?
Yes. Terrace Marshall or Wandale?
Oh.
Terrace Marshall or Wandale?
That's not real.
That's a real trade.
Wandale had a couple bad weeks, so he must not be any
The
good.
next trade from November.
Wandale didn't even play this week.
November 5th.
Exactly.
November
Bad
5th.
week.
Terrace Marshall Jr. or a 2023 first.
That's
Come
not
on.
real.
Terrace Marshall or 2023 third and Jerome Ford.
Now we're talking.
Now
Terrace Marshall or
That's the
Mike.
guy.
Terrace Marshall or Michael.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a random guy.
Fourth
Jerome
and Ford. Yeah.
Terrace Marshall and Michael Thomas or Michael Thomas.
The Bengals, Michael Thomas?
No.
The real Michael Thomas?
Yes. Terrace Marshall or Deion Jackson.
That's what I'm talking about. A dude.
Right. That's so far away from the
Here's
first couple
a
trades.
fun one. Terrace Marshall or Allen Robinson.
I mean, still taking Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why. I don't know why
Yeah.
anymore.
Shut some shit up out of my dick now. She's sick. She better lay low.
I don't know who this. I wouldn't get this guy on the podcast. I wouldn't get this guy who traded Marshall for
Allen
a 2023
Robinson?
first.
Not real.
It's a real trade.
It's fake news. You got a dog wife, Ted.
Everyone knows she's a dog. My opponent's gay. Now there's anything wrong with that Donald Trump. Go check out Shane Gill's stand-up.
Live in Austin.
He's fucking hilarious. He's really crushing it. He was at the Notre Dame game. That's why we lost.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big Notre Dame fan. Son of a bitch. Fuck Notre Dame and their Catholic money. I grew up Catholic, so I can talk shit.
It's the world's oldest business.
I just hate how and Jason Garrett sucks too. Fuck him as an announcer.
They
were sucking the Notre Dame dick so hard the whole time, all them boys, because they're like NBC is paid by Notre Dame to speak favorably about them. And
NBC does pay them a lot of money to carry their games.
Right, that's what I fucking hate about them. That's part of what I hate about them.
So you could
I like that coach. So the coach did a good job. They really.
I guess we got to watch the ACC network then to have some good commentary about the Clemson Tigers.
I just want fair commentary.
Are you a Clemson guy or a Clemson
and that's another
guy?
thing with fucking Jason Garrett.
A Clemson guy.
Ugh, there's a fucking P in there. Okay.
Oh my God. There's no P.
There's definitely not a Z either.
It's
Jason Garrett kept doing it, and I'm like, at this point, if you're putting a Z in there, you're just being a dick about it. If you're putting the Z in there, you're just being a dick about it.
No.
Everyone knows.
No,
if
they
the
don't.
other announcer was saying it correctly.
They don't.
Jason
Al
Garrett
Michaels
never
calls it Clemson. He's the fucking most knowledgeable guy out of anybody in fucking talking about it. He calls it Clemson.
I don't know. I think
Clemson.
he's changed it up.
He get the fuck out of here. What 75-year-old man changes anything up?
Yo, Al Michaels is a G.
If
there's one guy,
you can find him saying Clemson this week or whatever week they're talking about a Clemson guy. He's saying Clemson with a Z. I'm not saying he's right.
Get the P out of here.
I'm saying the P is more accurate.
It's just in there. Clemson. It's just in there.
There's no, but you said it without the P.
No,
there was a P in there.
Clemson.
You said a P. I can see your mouth making a P.
Clemson.
Not when you do it like that, it doesn't. But I can see your mouth making a P when you say Clemson. There's a P in there.
Yeah, there's gonna be a P over there.
Fucking P. Keep your P out.
Yeah, you're pushing P.
It's definitely a P, but
P.
But also not Southern P, not Clemson.
Clemson.
I prefer that.
Oh no way! Give me the Clemson.
Anytime I see someone with a Clemson something on, I'm like, "Go Tigers!" I always put the accent on it because I know they like it.
I prefer to say it like Coach O. Go Tigers.
How about DJ though? He's good, huh?
Oh,
yeah.
I picked the wrong time to say that he was playing well. I totally jinxed him.
Yeah.
He was playing well, and then the last two games it's just been complete dog shit.
I mean, Klubnik didn't play very well either. So he played two snaps and got benched.
Well, we do this thing where we have this stud rookie, and then we let him play a series here and there. And it just so happened last game we left him in.
Penn State had a 5-star quarterback too, but he threw 2 touchdowns.
Big difference.
But you're still going with Clifford.
Well, yeah, because
Clifford got hurt, and they let the guy come in, and he looked good, and they're still going back to Clifford.
Clifford had to shit his pants. That's what that game you saw was. Is Clifford had to shit.
But the rookie came in and looked good. But like why don't you just go with the rookie?
They're called freshmen.
They should just go with the rookie.
Answer the question.
He doesn't have the answer.
Exactly.
I mean, said they should have played Aller starting this week. So you're talking to the wrong guy. It's the wrong tone.
This guy's been
say it again. I'm stabbing the face of the soldering iron.
This guy's been singing DJ's praises like he doesn't.
Yeah, I know Sean Clifford sucks. You're the one over here jerking off DJ.
Denial.
DJ was playing good the first 5 games.
Might have had a two-game stretch.
It literally was as soon as you sent that picture in the group chat.
It went straight down.
Talking about his QBR increase.
And some guys do have him in the first round.
They did.
Yeah. Fucking Tanner Morgan
Idiots.
was a first-round draft pick too.
Idiots. Parents are probably idiots.
The problem with DJs is when his confidence gets wrecked.
What it is? Where he just stinks.
Which you can't do that. If your confidence is going to get flustered and then you're going to play bad, you're not going to make it. So
let him transfer. Get somebody else.
They already have somebody else.
Put him in.
Put him in.
Put him in. All right.
Should have kept Chase Bryce.
What are we going to wrap up with? What do you guys want to? What's the last couple things you want to talk about?
I mean, let's talk about Joe Mixon.
Should talk about Joe Mixon. Yeah.
Right. I put him on the thumbnail, so we got to
Mixon.
5 tutters. Best fantasy week of anyone this season, I think, is
probably will be too.
What they said, unless Kamara goes off for 6 in the championship.
Okay. Was that a Thanksgiving?
We had Mixon. Yeah. Maybe Christmas. I don't know. Whenever the fantasy championship.
Oh yeah, it was Christmas. Sorry.
We had Mixon on the show last week. We
had him on. Yeah, we had him on.
He's definitely not coming on the show. We had him in the RB rankings, and we were all a little down. We didn't know what to do with him. Like, where do you put him? Where do you slide him in? He was definitely coming down from where we all had him pre-season. And then Casey said, well, what if the next 6 weeks he's the RB1 where he's going to be right back up at the top of this discussion? Not like overall, but like back up properly rated. Well, he's on his way. I think that counts for 2 weeks at least right there.
least.
What are you doing with Joe Mixon? If you've been rebuilding, right? You couldn't move him up to this point. We talked about how we couldn't get our early first back, and we haven't really shopped him for random firsts just yet. What are you doing with Joe Mixon? Holding?
On a rebuild, I mean, I think you gotta have to try and move him after this week.
What are you trying to get?
Trying
we
to
pulled
get
up your fake trade thing, and
trying to get a first.
They had
plus-
2
plus
firsts,
maybe
and
a
then-
little bit, but before this week, you couldn't. You probably were hard pressed to get 1 first for Joe Mixon because nobody wanted to necessarily buy in because it hasn't been looking super great.
Mixon for Kittle. I'm assuming that's tight end premium.
Nah, well, I mean, I think I need more
You
than
got to
that.
get a first plus.
Mixon.
and a second for Brees.
Give me Brees.
I like
How
that.
about Mixon for Gibson and a 2023 first?
Say that again.
Mixon and a 2020 Mixon for a 2023 first
And
and
Gibson.
Gibson.
And Gibson is
Yeah.
Gibson enough? I mean, I guess I might get.
Seems where maybe where that first is, but I mean
Yeah.
that's kind of what that's probably the value. That's what's properly valued.
23
there,
first
probably.
and Rashad White. Obviously, Gibson's more than Rashad White is
Is
right
he?
now.
Yeah, I would say
I think so.
Had a disappointing week
Probably
this
so.
week, though.
Poor week this week, but McKissick was probably going to miss some time. And
Yeah.
I don't know. PFF was like they're playing somebody bad or
They're
good
playing,
next
they're
week,
playing the
so
Eagles.
they'll be
They're
behind.
playing the Eagles.
Right.
Monday Night
Which,
Football.
you
We'll be.
Great.
It's hard to fucking predict game script or schedule strength.
You'd
I
like
mean,
to think that the commies will be
Kill
playing-
him.
he hasn't had a very good game.
Good.
Kamara.
Sucks to suck.
He's just fine.
Yeah. No, he's
So this Ravens D is balling the fuck out.
Mixon, huh?
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got?
We got to try and move him, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm going to be trying to move him this because we're in the shitter, so I'm fine with trying to move off of him. You get a first plus, another okay player that could have upside.
Like Antonio Gibson.
Like Antonio Gibson, I think that was right in the ballpark. I mean, Rashad White has certainly been productive and looks good on the field with what he's getting. I don't know what's going to happen with them moving forward. But unless Lenny gets hurt, he's probably not going to really do anything for you this year. But you're probably rebuilding if you're making a trade like that.
Yeah.
So I'd probably want a little bit more than Rashad White, but I mean that's basically a 1 and a 2 for Mixon with a hope of another running back who could maybe catch some passes, be in your starting lineup. It's probably all selling a little bit low on the potential of what Joe Mixon can be. I mean, obviously nobody's scoring 5 touchdowns, but I mean if Mixon could just score a touchdown or just be a little bit more involved
He's
in
catching passes now.
right. He's caught a lot of passes this year, which is really the only thing that's kept him kind of afloat.
Yeah, and Chris Evans.
So a first
Shout
and
out
White
Captain America.
probably a little low, but
Yeah.
that's probably what the value is about now to actually move off of him.
Yeah.
So you're saying hold for a little bit longer.
Well, I mean,
Unless if you're competing, there's
should-
obviously no reason
sure.
to trade
Right.
him.
You
You're
should
just
press-
static. But
you should
I'm
press
talking
the
for
issue a little bit
rebuilders.
this week and see if you get the juices flowing of somebody getting reinvigorated. And the overall box score of Mixon doesn't look absolutely horrible. So like if somebody's going to trade for him and they had a big game and you're a shitty team and you click on it, it's not the worst ever. It's not like what it was last year necessarily, but
Well, this might not be the week to trade for him. Trade him because he's on a bye.
yeah, well, that's even like I got Pollard in a league that me and Big Co are trying to ship him out. And it's like you got an extra week that's just kind of sits right in the hopper
That's true. Yeah.
of like, hey, you can't get hurt this week.
Didn't do anything
He's
bad.
got the bye. He's not doing
Yeah.
anything bad. He's
Right.
still last thing you look at, he scored 50 points.
Maybe somebody gets an injury too in that week.
So you get like a 2 week window
that
here
lingers. I
to-
like it.
to linger on that.
Lingers.
So-
Lingers.
Lingers, man.
Yeah. Hate them. They stink.
Are
What's
we,
a-
ling- are
what's
we
a G-
lingering right now?
What's a G-Bert?
Definitely lingering. A G-Bert?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh.
It's Chris Gebert.
All right. Let's move it into, of course, we got to hit our guy, Kenny Walker, before we get out of here. It's just the
I thought you
Kenny
were going to
Walker.
say Travis Etienne, but either one.
Kenny Walker update. Still suck at Peter Howard.
Did you know he had some catches this week?
Yeah. Well, imagine
Did
that.
he has two hands, and then he could reach out and catch a football that is thrown his way.
Yeah, this crazy.
Don't even look at me. I have been fucking RB5. You can get off my
This
nuts.
crazy, athletic, really talented guy could catch a football. It's wild. This is all you're asking of Kenny Walker. I just need him to get 3 targets.
He didn't have any in the 2-minute drill.
I don't give a fuck. And
He didn't have hardly any third down.
he picked up so many third downs for them.
First
like-
downs?
Your first downs, yeah.
He didn't have any. I don't think he played very many third down snaps.
Well, the ones that
Which
he
I
did, he
couldn't
ran
find-
for a fucking 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 and got it.
They have the third down snaps in the little details of that article, but I couldn't find where third down snaps were in PFF. If you can find that shit, let me know. I was like wanting to find some third down snap
This is-
totals.
They only have it in the article. They
this
don't-
is
they don't have it on the
all-
snap.
You want from Kenneth Walker, a guy who's going to touch it carry it 20 times around each game. I just need 3 checkdowns. I need 3 checkdowns to possibly get 20 yards or get the PPR
Walker played 3 of 11 third downs.
or get PPR, the PPR touchdowns, like 3 for 30, the 6 points. That's all I need.
Did you hear me?
Say that.
Walker played 3 of 11 third downs.
Got 3
Right.
first downs on all of those.
Probably did.
I know it's 2 of them for sure.
You can find out how many first downs they got, but you can't find out how many third down snaps they got.
3 of 11.
Why they be hiding the deets?
But Kenny Walker really, I felt like, put this game on ice for the Seahawks and has been great and will be great. And this is the kind of shit that I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, you got to sell Kenneth Walker. Well, it's laughable that Kenneth Walker is this RB. There's 5 Kenneth Walkers in next year's draft.
I think
From-
PFF said you need to sell because their schedule's getting hard.
From what you said earlier of saying like, who else, who you're going to get? This is the guy you want. Well, you just got a really young guy who's really good on an offense who will absolutely run into a negative game script. Like that's what you want. Pete Carroll wants to play the ball this way. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, apparently. Their offensive line's fine. It's okay. And they got some playmakers outside. Kenneth Walker's what you want. I don't understand why you're trying to get out from under Kenneth Walker. You just found something fucking awesome right here. And yeah, okay, you could flash up on the screen like Philip Lindsay and some other player maybe is as evidence of, I don't know. I don't have anything good there. I don't know where I was going with that. Next thought. I really don't understand what the sell Kenneth Walker side is because he just doesn't catch balls and he didn't have a college target share and market share, and you're just holding on to that, I guess.
How many catches did he have this past week?
He had 4 targets and 3 receptions for 20 yards.
So I saw Josh Norris, or who was it? Who's the guy's the fantasy guru? Josh Hansen, maybe?
No
that's-
idea.
I saw a tweet and it was like it said something like Kenneth Walker had 3 catches this year. That was more than he had his 2 years of Wake
He had
Forest.
3. He had 3 each year's away at 2
Right.
years Wake Forest. Yeah.
And like not able to is different than can't.
I saw that tweet. I saw that.
Not
I-
asked to
I
is
saw
not
that-
the same as can't.
I saw that
catch.
tweet too.
Right. And the numbers people will say, well, if they weren't throwing it to him, it's for a reason. It's like,
'Cause
no,
he can't catch.
Michigan State just didn't fucking throw it to the running back. There wasn't another running back over there that was catching 100 balls. They just didn't do it. He's capable of fucking doing it. It's the dumbest argument ever. Like, it's so fucking silly. I can't understand it. Like, you can have the rules, you can set them all up, you can have all your thresholds, that's fine. But when a guy like this comes along and can do so many special things, you kind of just got to be like, I'm going to just bet on the talent here, and I'm pretty sure that he can catch fucking footballs, even though he didn't in college. Like, what's the worst case scenario? He's Nick Chubb. Okay. How often we could go back and see what Nick Chubb's ADP and his data was and the value of Nick Chubb for the first X amount of years in the league. It was fucking good. That's what it was. It was fucking awesome. Just recently, he got shade thrown on him because fucking Kareem Hunt's there and he doesn't catch any balls. Like, and I'm not arguing the case for Nick Chubb either. Like, I understand why people do bump the value down a little bit, and I could see maybe that Kenneth Walker gets there, but Kenneth Walker catches 3 balls a game, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest knock on Chubb is that he's leading the league in rushing yards and touchdowns, but he's only running back 4 points per game.
Right, but he's still running back 4.
Exactly.
Right. So like that's fine. Like I'll just take a top running back that I got.
Oh no, I'm getting a top 5 running back.
Right. And Kenneth Walker looks to have all the juice. He's plenty fast. Seems like he can catch just fine. The Seahawks are fine with giving him. There's not that many running backs who can get like he's in a system where they want to feature a fucking running back. I just don't understand what's going on. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like it's the same, people are still mad at Dameon Pierce. Like he's like he could be replaced next year. Yeah, okay. He could be.
He's got 24 targets and it's less than half the game so far. So he's on track to bust that 50 target threshold.
Don't let the liberal media tell you how to think
And
and
I mean, he had a great game and he only scored 13, 15 fantasy points this week. That shit happens, man. He's not on a great team, but they're willing to showcase him, willing to feature him as well. He's got good hands. He's been getting carries at the red zone, carries in the goal line, third down attempts, up and up and up. And I feel like it's just everybody gets so stuck on he can't do this because of that, or now that he is in there, he's going to be replaced because he was a 4th round pick or whatever. And it's like, maybe, man, maybe, but maybe not. Like, why? Why would they replace him? Why? I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying, like, why would you replace Dameon
that's money
Dameon
found.
Pierce?
Right. That's money found.
They're mad if you draft a running back in the 1st round because you could find running backs anywhere, but then you hit on one in the 4th round where I think they want you to take one, and they're like, he's replaceable.
It's got to be a 2nd or 3rd round running back. That's it.
It's just like, what the fuck?
Can't be any good if it's in the
I'm sure there's a
2nd or 3rd
list
round.
of a bunch of 4th round players that have been replaced. There's also, I'm sure, a list of 4th round running backs that have played an entire career being a starter in the NFL. Like,
well, there's probably not a ton, and that's where the numbers come from. You know what I mean? Like that, but like
Sure.
they're not all created equal. They all don't look the same on the field. NFL GMs make fucking mistakes. Like the team, like if you, I don't know. That's the problem with being like a film guy is you have to trust the film guy's eyes who you're listening to, And I think we have a track record here. We've been doing this for so many years that we've found these outliers. We've been finding the outliers, and when we see one, we fucking plant our flag on it. And
I think, let's take Garrett Wilson, for example. Offense stinks. We still have Garrett Wilson like semi-properly rated, even though he went to a stinky offense. He's just not quite as highly rated as he maybe could be.
He doesn't have
which we kind of talked about.
He doesn't have the upside because he plays in a poopy offense.
Right. But for whatever, Dameon Pierce was just everything thrown at the book at him that, this offense is terrible. Look at the Jets. Look at how the Jets offense is slowly kind of turning around and maybe could be turning around. Next year, the fucking Texans get CJ Stroud, and maybe he sucks, but maybe he's great. And all of a sudden, that's an offense that's like, oh, it's on the come up now. You want the offensive line seems half decent over there for the Texans. They've invested some 1st rounders in there. I think they still have Tunsil.
for sure.
Do have Tunsil.
And there, there's a couple of bits and pieces out there, but it's just like we get so involved in, well, he's a 4th round pick. He can't do that. He can't play on 3rd downs. He didn't play at Florida. So why could he play in there? Oh, he's replaceable in the 4th round. Oh, he's on the Texans and that offense stinks. Like, what are the chances that he's going to get this many opportunities or what, and it's like, okay, in one fucking year, that could all be different. And now it seems like he's earned the opportunity to be the number 1 guy in that. I'm not saying that they won't add another guy. There's not that many offenses in the league that don't have another guy.
All those concerns about him aren't necessarily untrue. It doesn't even matter. He's still fucking crushing it.
Right.
He's still balling out. Had 139 rushing yards last week.
There's just it just seems like there's no adjustment for guys who, I get it. You got all the thresholds. You want to be there, but there's no adjustment for guys that like, oh shit, Dameon Pierce was giving you hints of saying he's good. Okay. It took a minute for Penny had to get hurt, but we kind of knew that. And Kenneth Walker I was still fine taking him 1-2, and it might take a minute for him to get his run. But as soon as he got his run, it's lights out. Like, I don't understand why it's a rush to get rid of those guys too, because basically you didn't like them to begin with, so now you got to sell them because it's panning out, and it's like, oh well, it's not gonna keep panning out. I mean, maybe it fucking won't, but I mean, it's not like they've had like a string of lucky things happen to him where, like, you know, Kenneth Walker, every game the guy's shoes are tied together and he just keeps scoring touchdowns. Like, it just he's fucking awesome. Like, he ran 22 miles an hour. Don't you want the fast guy? Like, don't you want the running back who gets 26 carries?
They need to be fast. They need to catch. They have to have the right size.
You didn't like Kenneth Walker because he was going to be on a shit offense.
Well, he doesn't.
Look where we're at.
The target share.
No, I'm just saying, like, that was definitely a reason. And I'm sure I probably even said, like, he's on the Seahawks. We don't really know, but we think that when it's time to get the usage, they're okay with running the football, which is good. But everybody, like, this offense was going to stink. Geno Smith or Drew Lock, and it's like, the offense is fucking decent.
Yeah.
The Seahawks are a fun watch.
Seahawks wanted to run the ball regardless, regardless of if they were successful or not with it. They want to run the ball and they want to feature a guy, and that is definitely opportunity that you're looking for. But like, I don't like. I keep talking shit, but I don't mean to do it as hard as I go in the paint, because I want to hear the analytics and I want to know what the metrics are and I want to know what the probabilities are and all this stuff. But so many people came on here and were like, the target share is bad, therefore he can't be good. Like, there has to be something else to it. It can't just be that. You have to be able to look at this man and tell that he's fucking awesome at running the ball and that he'll figure it out. All he just needs to do is catch a few balls and
get the opportunity.
Which you knew that was going to happen. And I don't even want to
You don't necessarily ever know that's going to happen, but you can play the odds.
I don't even want to right. Well, you knew Seattle wanted to feature a guy, and you knew that Rashad Penny probably wasn't going to stay healthy. So like, it was a pretty good scenario for Kenneth Walker to go to the Seahawks. Like, but you didn't want to. All the analytical people blinded themselves with this target share, and I don't know. I want to know if any of them are changing their process at all.
No, they're
based on it.
They're doubling down on
fine
selling.
with it hitting, but you're not necessarily like an analytical guy.
No,
I don't think you
would
were out on Kenneth Walker because he wasn't going to catch
no,
passes.
but I did have a concern about his ability to catch passes. But at this point, why do I care if he doesn't catch passes? He catches 3 passes, but runs for 150 damn yards.
Right, and he's obviously one of the better backs in the league already, looking that way anyway.
He can put the whole team on his back. He's basically like the new Marshawn Lynch.
Right, you just, instead of being like,
so much determination.
There's 5 Kenneth Walkers in the next draft class, be like, I fucking maybe.
Yeah, I don't think
maybe
there's not. There's definitely not.
Maybe 1 or 2 of them are even better than Kenneth Walker. That would be great for fantasy and for the league and for all that kind of shit.
Right.
But like
running backs in general. But if you couldn't see
there's
this man,
there's for sure maybe 1.
Right.
And it's Bijan and everybody knows it. And after that, I don't know if I'd take any of those guys over Kenneth Walker right now. Now we get in the offseason and we fall in love with all the pretty items that are fresh and new.
Jahmyr
and
Gibbs watching him play, but
Gibbs, Tucker, Bigsby.
I feel like Gibbs has got to be a little bit of a step ahead of all those guys, right? He's got to be like the second guy, right? Yeah. And he's a little small, but Kenneth Walker was a little small.
Yeah.
Although it's short and thick up. He doesn't look small at all.
You want all these guys who catch passes. How many fucking running backs in this league go out there and are like so effective in the pass catching game? Like 4 or 5?
Yeah, not that many.
CMC, Swift, when he's out there, could be considered that. Kamara.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
Eckler and
Saquon. You could put those guys in there. Yeah. I mean, so, obviously those are some of your elite players, but like anybody else outside of those realms, I'm sure I'm missing somebody. And somebody's like, oh, I'm sure this guy's good at catching balls or whatever. But like, okay, like
Rhamondre.
Yeah, Rhamondre. Right. Antonio Gibson was supposed to be a ball catching phenom, but
Najee Harris caught 75 balls last year.
Right. How many of these guys are like these ridiculous pass catchers that get used as ridiculous pass catchers and get, all the other opportunities? Like, you can keep Kenneth Gainwell and you can keep Nyheim Hines. And if that's what James Cook's going to be, if that's what James Cook's going to be, you could probably keep him too. You can keep any of these fucking Darryls who every once in a while, you could start them.
Maybe Darren's.
That you could start maybe every once in a while when you're a pitch. And JD McKissick, that's great. Like,
James-
sure.
James
Listen,
White.
this is another issue with a lot of Dynasty Twitter is if you're not a top, if you don't check all the fucking boxes and you're not the best, then you're the worst. You know, like
Yeah.
they don't want these depth players. If you're a 4th round pick, then you must not be any good. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm
Right.
just not even going to spend the draft pick. I'll just let my pick get skipped because it's not going to be a top guy.
Right.
You know, and it's just like you gotta,
Everybody stinks except for like 5 players, basically, is what you're saying.
and you
it's
just need
true.
to take all of them.
Yeah, and I don't know.
You
You know,
need to get 5 first-round startup picks and take all the top 5 guys, and then you don't even need to fill out the rest of the flex spots. You'll just be that good.
yeah.
Sell the rest of your draft. It's just like, come
I mean,
on.
that'd be a wild idea if you could get the first 5 picks
in a startup draft, you'd have
Yeah.
to sell all your future rookie picks. You know, I mean, Last Fats basically tried to do that in the new Patreon league that we started up. Like he went real top heavy. You know, he took a lot of top men.
Is he good?
I don't
think-
think so.
I think
I think
Swift was one of them, so it's not
Yeah.
working out for him. But
Injuries.
yeah, it did not work.
No,
It just
I think it's a
you can't limit. But this is you start so many players in that league, and
Yeah.
I never like to do. I don't like to be so top heavy because if you take a few injuries, then you're really fucking toast. And that's basically as much of a gamble as taking a stab on a later round guy is. I mean, you know,
can be.
I need some depth. I need, especially in the league where you
He's
have
not
like
a-
4
he's not a
fucking
playoff team.
flexers.
He's not a playoff team right now.
If you're not a top player at every position, then you know people are like, you're trash. You got to get him off your team or whatever. And like you're right, it is. I think it is a big problem in the way that people talk about players and values. And I mean, we're always on here talking about buy, sell, hold. Look, I'm not necessarily in. You know, I'm always sending offers if I have free time, but like I'm not just doing that to do it. I'm trying to find the little bits of value that I could maybe find in that league. If that's not what it took to make you guys listen, I would just sit here and talk about football games all day fucking long instead of actually saying buy, sell, hold. But that's what everybody wants to hear about. So I'm not necessarily advocating to always just be buy, selling, and holding on every single player. You send out offers when you think there's some good value, or depending on what your trades, you know, on what your team's doing. But like, you know, that I don't really like talking about it this way, but we, you know, it's kind of what people like and people want to hear. So
It's
that's
provocative.
what
It
people
gets the people going.
that's what we do. But we try to mix in some, you know,
No, it's not. It's gross.
a little bit more football talk on throughout some of this rather than just strictly fantasy and strictly just, you know, you could apply. I'm going to tell you a secret here. You could apply buy, sell, hold, or trade targets,
To every
or
single player.
you know, yeah, basically any of those, you know,
We'll just go through the league one day. Buy, sell, hold.
buy, sell, hold, trade targets, must play, top guys. Those are all everything everybody wants. So anyway, let's get the hell out of here because it's late. I'm tired.
Get the hell out of here.
Travis Etienne still not a sell high. Sucking again, Peter Howard. That guy's fucking good. So you know, but
Travis Etienne.
another one,
Dude,
another one that everybody was just like, hey, there's like 3-4 ETNs in this next class, so make sure you sell and get what you can. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? He looks awesome. He can catch. Maybe it's not how you like him to catch. He can catch just fine.
Shut up.
fucking doing just fine.
He
Fucking
can do it
God.
just fine. He's explosive as fuck. Their offensive line looks good. They got to figure out how to win. Jury's still a little bit out on
They could-
T-Law.
They figured out how to this past week.
They
Play the
did. They
Raiders
just played
and
the
give it
Raiders.
the fucking ETN.
They just played the Raiders.
Yeah.
But-
They tried to give that game away, but somehow Devontae Adams went, all his work was in the first half. It was
Yeah.
wild.
People
Anyway.
don't think that ETN CMC, so you got to sell him because he stinks, and there's 5 guys better than him in the next class. And it's like, no. There's this guy had been really good in college. He's probably stayed a year too long. You guys got sick of him. You made up reasons why he wasn't good, and he's actually good. And he's showing it to you right here, so much so that they moved off of James Robinson to feature him. And he's fucking doing his goddamn thing. No, it's not time to sell high. Get the fuck out of here. You got a good player.
Should have bought 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, when y'all told him to. Like,
I feel so vindicated.
look, I mean, we have plenty of misses. I hope people come out there and say, suck at FF Dynasty on their fucking podcast, because I don't give a fuck. We're having fun. We're enjoying things.
And I don't listen to your podcast.
Right. I don't listen to any of their podcasts. I just
I
know
just don't
the
have
dumb shit that
time,
people
I
say
don't
on
have time.
Twitter.
I don't.
And I kind of
time.
have some inside information on who does what in industry leagues that other people are in that aren't very good at things.
If y'all could just hear the
so-
post interviews we have and talks with the guys that we bring on, you know, we you know, full disclosure.
I decided
It's
that
fun.
I think Dynasty Fantasy Football has basically just become off seasons talking about rookies and then just telling you which guys are the best that are like the veterans, and then the rest of it just doesn't matter. So I think that's it. I think that's Dynasty Fantasy Football.
Is it you just say buy, sell, hold? You say buy, you say sell, I say hold. We move on.
Well, somebody's got to be upset about it.
That's what it is.
All right. Suck it, everyone.
Hey,
Kenny
if you're-
Walker's
if
good.
you're watching right
Damian
now,
Pierce is good. Our guy, John Bauer, he can suck it too.
our guy.
He won't even come on anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I can't.
I'm too
come on."
busy.
Yeah. Getting called out, JB. You better come on the show soon. We miss you, man. Anyway,
I miss you.
yeah, it's like that Foreman won't even respond to my texts.
So like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah,
whatever.
hit me with a 5-star review on the iTunes or the Spotify's or the iHeartRadios or the Stitchers or the Podbeans or wherever you throw a 5-star review. Send me a screenshot of it. I haven't gotten any screenshots. I gave out 2 T-shirts. They should be in the mail soon. Hit me up with another. Hit me up with them reviews. I'll send out another one. I'll do another drawing.
Did it all for the nookie.
Cookie. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Peace.
For your pleasure.
Pleasurable. Also, Gabriel walks in.
I hate analytics and they stink.
Just kidding. We love you. I'm just playing, America. You know I love you.